Hey everyone, it's your old pal Glenn Victor. Welcome to episode 44 of the Dare Me podcast. Peace. We are transmitting the show to you live right now. However, I am not live. This is a pre-recorded message for you, introduction to today's Dare Me podcast, because I will be watching the Detroit Lions' very first home playoff football game in 30 years. That's right. If you know me well, follow me on social media or the podcast, you know I'm a huge sports fan and huge Detroit Lions football team fan, so I couldn't miss today's football game. But we didn't want to break our streak of showing the Dare Me podcast live every single week on our way to that goal of 50 episodes. This is episode 44, so we were going to break that streak today, and we are in honor of my hometown of Detroit City going to show not one, but two previous episodes of the Dare Me podcast. First will be episode 24 that we called Detroit versus Everybody. It includes a deep dive interview with them boys from Rarehearted, that Detroit R&B and rap music group that we recorded live at the Rarehearted Music Studios in Detroit last summer. And then we're going to show episode 25 that was the very following week, called Back from the D. That includes a deep dive discussion and interview all about the Jamie Daniels Foundation. That is a focus on that foundation founded by Ken Daniels, the announcer for the Detroit Red Wings hockey team, who unfortunately lost his young son Jamie to an accidental opiate overdose. And we attended a big fundraiser for the foundation that helps to try to prevent the same fate for young people in the community. And that fundraiser had all these famous Detroit Red Wing hockey players at it and different celebrities. That's coming up on today's show as well. So there you go, everyone. Hope you get to tune in and watch today's episode 44 of the Dare Me podcast, while yours truly will be watching the Detroit Lions playoff game, their very first home playoff game in 30 years, and we'll be back with you live next week on the Dare Me podcast. Hope you enjoyed today's show, and go Lions! Peace! On average, just in the United States, about 220 people die every single day from an opiate overdose. By the time we finish this show, 8 to 10 people are going to die from an opiate overdose. If we get even one person, one viewer with this program that we might be able to help with some of the information that's shared on here, then it's all worth it. Hey everyone, it's your old pal Glenn Victor. We are coming to you live from my hometown, Detroit City, and we are live as well in the Rarehearted Music Studio, and we're going to be bringing them boys from Rarehearted on real soon. I have so been looking forward to this edition of the show, literally since we started the program. As you'll hear when we talk with those guys, Shu, who's one of the members of Rarehearted, has been such an inspiration to me when it comes to music. And, I've been talking to him about having him and the guys on the podcast since we started. And I'm so excited that we have them here live in the studio today. They're literally sitting right next to me, and we're going to bring them on in a second. But first, we want to bring that boy Dean Baker in from Orlando, Florida. He's standing by at the Post Effects Digital Studios, our co-host and producer. What's happening, Dean?
I forgot to unmute myself. I guess you'd call this Studio B.
Yeah, Studio B. Yeah.
Which is the late night studio.
Yeah.
Things are going great. It's a good weekend. How y'all doing today?
Oh, man, we're doing great over here. And yeah, I'm glad you mentioned late night. It is 6 p.m. on the West Coast and, of course, 9 p.m. here on the East Coast. And I'm so grateful to the guys from Rarehearted for letting me, post up here at their studio. The Dare Me podcast studio back in Sacramento is dark tonight, but I will be back there next Sunday. And man, do we got a special episode next week. We're going live from Detroit tonight, but next week it's going to be back from the D episode because I got so much stuff that I've packed into my vacation here and my trip here. Got so much great footage in downtown Detroit last night. Went to this awesome event that we're going to talk about in just a moment that I got footage of. And there's just no way I could have done all of that tonight and have these boys from, Rarehearted on. So next week, we're going to do another deep dive into my visit here to Detroit City. But tonight, is going to be all about Rarehearted, but I do want to tease just a little bit, what next week's show is going to have. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But right now, let's go ahead and bring in them boys from Rarehearted on the Dare Me podcast. There they are.
Yo,
Hey,
yo.
guys.
What's up? What's up?
Welcome. Well, hey, if you would, I know you guys are kind of passing the mic back and forth. Go ahead and introduce yourself for all our viewers and listeners, if you would.
My name is Kyle from Rarehearted. I am an artist, engineer, and producer,
All
and
right.
been in the group since the start of it.
Kyle, my man.
My name is Bang in Rarehearted. I'm also an artist, producer, and engineer.
And hey, Bang, I got to say this before you pass the mic down. Congratulations to you. Just announced today that you are officially an engineer, EAR. Tell us about that if you would, bro.
Yeah, so it's a platform put together by Derek Ali, which is like, if you know music, you know who Derek Ali is. Like, he mixes all the big artists.
Yep.
That was Kendrick Lamar's main engineer for like his whole career. So
Yep.
I'm just very honored to like be a part of that platform. It's a great opportunity for me and all the guys too as well. So
Well, and that ain't an opportunity that's just granted to anybody. So congratulations to you. And now we got our other boy in the group.
Yo, my name is Ramo, also a member of Rarehearted, obviously.
Yep.
Artist, producer, songwriter, passionate man.
Yes, you are, Ramo. And hey, y'all, if one of y'all would, we also have another member, but he had a previous commitment, couldn't be with us tonight. You got to give your other boy a shout out.
Keon, always
Yeah,
with
Keon,
us.
our boy Keon.
Always.
Keon, we love
Always with us
Keon.
in spirit, no matter where we go.
Yeah,
you know.
buddy. And you know what? We talked about this a little bit before we started the show tonight, y'all. And we'll talk about this more as we go. But one thing I love about y'all is not only do you have all this great music as a group, but you all do your individual stuff too. And by the way, for all our viewers and listeners, first of all, welcome to the show. I see we already got 7 viewers, and I'll check the chat room in a minute. And people listening, we appreciate y'all supporting the show. We are live on like 4 different Facebook pages, 4 different YouTubes. We're out there on LinkedIn. We're out there on Twitter, which is called X now. We're live on Threads and all the things. So welcome to all our viewers and listeners. We always appreciate y'all that check in live. And of course, hello to everybody who catches the recorded version. Once the show's over, we post it and then it's there forever. So yeah, we appreciate y'all. But we want to say hi to Keon too. And hopefully we can have him on the show maybe and have y'all back again down the road. So anyway, thanks for the intro, y'all. And I just want to put y'all on ice for just a minute. We are going to do that deep dive interview with y'all, get into some of your music. We're going to play some clips and talk. Always like to do just a brief introduction to what our show's all about. And then, like I said, I'm going to show a few slides and a short video clip to kind of tease our Back from the D episode that's coming up next week, y'all. So hang tough with me for a moment. And right now, we're going to talk about the Dare Me podcast and what the show's all about, y'all. I'm going to try to do a shorter version of this introduction tonight because I'm really excited about talking with the guys. This show is all about trying to help people who may be caught up in addiction, or people who were and are living clean now and just working on staying clean. And that word or that name, Dare Me, is kind of you got some meanings behind it. First of all, it was kind of like dare me to come out and do this. There's this whole stigma attached to addiction, or substance abuse disorder is kind of the phrase we've been trying to use now, because there is that a stigma attached, I think, to that word addiction sometimes. And so, yeah, it was like, dare me to come out and do this, and now that we're 24 episodes in, man, wouldn't have it any other way. I'm so happy to be doing what we're doing with this show. And then once we came up with the name, we kind of took those letters and have these acronyms, these hashtags, drugs, addiction, recovery, enlightenment, music, and exercise. These are all my favorite topics, y'all, and we talk about them all on this show. And the reason that I decided to do this podcast on those topics is because I developed a horrible addiction to opiates. I broke my ankle and I got prescribed opiate medication. I probably never should have taken them, because I've had a long struggle with addiction and substance abuse disorder my whole life. I started using as a kid when I was like 13, like most kids my age at that time that I knew. We all partied, smoked weed, drinking all that shit. Then I got clean at 25 years old, and I stayed clean for almost 17 years. I had some slips, blah, blah, blah. And then, like I said, unfortunately, I broke my ankle skating, and I ended up taking those opiate pain medications, and it went on for 9 years, y'all. I've been clean now almost 2.5 years, and thank God, by the way. But getting off of them things was truly one of the worst things that ever happened to me in my life. And so we decided to do this podcast to hopefully be an inspiration to someone that might be trying to kick. Because when I was looking for information online, Googling stuff, looking on YouTube, how to get through opiate withdrawals and all that stuff. And my story is a long one. So if you'd like to hear or more about it, go back and watch some of the previous Dare Me podcast episodes. You can catch them on the Dare Me podcast YouTube channel, Facebook page, all the things. And I'll tell more of my story and more about it as we go. But anyway, that's the Reader's Digest version, y'all. We try to be an inspiration to people looking to get off dope, an inspiration to people who are living clean, and also to just anybody who likes good content, because we do talk about all the things that I mentioned: drugs, addiction, recovery, enlightenment, music, exercise. And I was talking with the guys before the show, and music is definitely one of the main topics we talk about on this show. And for me personally, it truly has been like a lifesaver. That whole parable of the empty mind. You take negative shit out, you better put some positive shit back in there real soon, or else that negative shit will find its way back in. And so music's always something I've had a passion for. I made a living playing music as a DJ on the radio and bars and clubs, mobile DJ business, all that stuff. But I've taken a whole different path with music now, in learning Logic, playing around with Pro Tools, producing music, auto-tune, singing and shit. And the part of the reason I mentioned that tonight is because the person who inspired me to do it is on the show tonight. That boy Bang Shu is with us, and we're going to talk with him a little bit more in a moment about all that. So before we get to the guys, though, I want to tease our episode for next week, Back from the D, because like I said, y'all, I spent some time here in Detroit City, and last night I was at an event at this place, the Motor City Casino, and a place in there called the Soundboard. It was a great event that I'm going to talk about and show a video for in just a moment, but just thought I'd show y'all. We're going to talk a lot more about it next week. We paid a visit to the historic Fox Theater, got some great video of that we'll show you next week. So again, we're just trying to teach you to tune in next week. There is the famous Little Caesars Arena, where the Detroit Pistons and Detroit Red Wings play, and they have a lot of concerts there. That's the famous Hockey Town Cafe. And of course, there's Mickey Miguel Cabrera in his final season. He's a legend. If you're a baseball fan, you already know. And there's Ford Field, where the Lions play. Of course, we all got big hopes for the Lions this year. And then there is the famous Renaissance Center in downtown Detroit. thought I'd take a picture of Aretha Franklin Way talking about music. Sister Ray, so famous in Detroit City. They named a street after her. And we had to stop by Mom Spaghetti, that famous M&M restaurant. We got a lot of footage there. In fact, we interviewed one of the guys working there, and he talks about all these famous people that stopped in: Eminem, Snoop Dogg, LL Cool J, and that's all coming up on next week's edition of the show. So anyway, y'all, I talked about this event that we attended at the Motor City Casino last night, and again, we are going to do a deep dive into that next week. And the reason we went was to attend an event called the Roast and Toast for the Jamie Daniels Foundation. Jamie Daniels was the son of Ken Daniels, and Ken Daniels is a legend in Detroit, play-by-play announcer for the Detroit Red Wings for 25 years. There's Ken with his son Jamie. Heartbreaking, a parent's worst nightmare. Jamie died of an opiate overdose. Ken and his family have shared openly and formed this foundation called the Jamie Daniels Foundation about their son's struggles with substance abuse disorder. He was really trying to get his life on track through, treatment. And there's a fascinating and very interesting, heartbreaking story all about it that I highly encourage you to go check out. If this is a topic that interests you, just go Google the Jamie Daniels Foundation. It'll fucking blow your mind what happened. And these pictures, God, what a good looking kid, young kid. And he got a hold of some fake pills, man, synthetic opioids laced with heroin and fentanyl, and it killed him. And unfortunately, that happens all day, every day, all around the country. And God bless Ken and his beautiful wife and daughter. They formed the Jamie Daniels Foundation. And they've been going hard at it for, I think, 4 or 5 years. Their son passed back in December of 2016. And they do these fundraisers and events. And of course, with his involvement with the Detroit Red Wings, he gets a lot of support from them. And they did this roast and toast for a couple of the Red Wings players last night, Eric Lidstrom and Thomas Holz. And so here we are together. I attended the event with an old friend of mine, Pete Falk. Shout out, Pete, if you're watching. And got to meet Ken in person. And there we are talking and took a picture together and just met all kinds of people. Oh, there's Pete. Yo, back hanging with you. Welcome, Pete. He just chimed in the chat room. Appreciate you going out there. Kelly's in the chat room. Shout out, Kelly. Detroit in the house. Hey, everyone. Appreciate all y'all watching, listening, and in the chat room. And so anyway, shout out as well to Ken Daniels and all the folks we saw there last night. Next week, y'all are really going to dig the show because we met a lot of legends. Mickey Redmond was there. We met Chris Draper. Chris Osgood was there. Steve Ott. You get the idea, y'all. You know me. I love name dropping. And we really definitely met some cool people there last night. And what a great organization. We're going to do a deep dive talking a lot more about them next week. And as we go, and again, shout out to my friend Pete, excuse me, y'all, for, filling me in on that event and all. And it just worked out that while I was in town for my nephew Jason Bacashua's wedding, he got married Friday night to his beautiful wife, Chantel. Shout out to y'all. Had such a great time Friday with them. Just worked out that this event was going on the very next day and I was able to attend. So with all that said, y'all, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about our friends from Rarehearted, because one of the things that this foundation has a mission for is getting to our youth. And when I say youth, I mean younger people, because there's a study that shows 90% of people that OD or develop a substance abuse disorder when they get older, in their 20s or older, started using when they were under 18. And so, in that ballpark, 18, 20 somethings or whatever. And another reason why I'm so happy, and I don't want to sound condescending, but so proud of our friends from Rarehearted who are living right. And let's bring them on right now. There they are again. And man, just so freaking talented. and setting such a great example for our youth. We were talking a little bit before the show. If I can, Bang, I'll send our first question to you. You guys are even getting into fitness now too, right? Who inspired you to start doing all that?
So Rama was the one that put me and Kyle on fitness. Like he's been in the gym for a minute. So
yeah,
he definitely like inspired and influenced us to do that.
Yeah, well, hey, man, that's fantastic. As I think you guys know, I'm a gym rat. I know I follow you guys on social media, and I see you like my shit from time to time. I know people get irritated sometime when I check in at the gym, but you know what? I saw a meme. I posted it this last week, and a lot of people liked it. It said, "You will inspire some and irritate others. Do it anyways." And so, anyway, with all that said, y'all, if we can, I want to go into this little bit of a story about how, Bang, I met your brother Shebang. And for our regular viewers and listeners, Shebang has been a regular guest on the show. He's here in the house right now, actually. And, when Shebang and I met, we were working on going to meetings together. We would ride together. And, man, he told me he was into music. And we developed this little bond that we have in common. And man, we'd be playing music in the car and he'd start spitting, freestyling and shit. And he was like, "Come on, G, jump in there, man." And we were just having fun back and forth, no inhibitions. And then he told me, "Wow, man, my brother's really into music too, man. He's really, got skills. You should come over sometime and lay something down." And I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, a little more to the story, but if you remember, I came over, man, and we laid down what we do. We did a couple Grandmaster Flash.
We did like 3 or 4 songs, right?
Yeah, we did Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. We did The Message, Survival, and then I was having so much fun. I asked you if we could do a Frank Sinatra tune. We did a couple, actually.
You sounded just like him on that, too.
Yeah. The old Rat Pack stuff is kind of what my voice is a little suited for, but I just always had this dream of recording those Grandmaster Flash tunes because, for me, that's some of the original rap, is them old school, late 70s rap tunes and all. And, I had those lyrics like memorized, and not even really like memorized. I just own them, because I've sang them songs so many times. I just know it, And if you remember, bro, when we got done, I'll never forget it. You made me feel so good, and you were so patient with me, by the way, because we did so many takes. And I remember when we got done, you actually said to me, "Bro, you actually did pretty good for somebody doing this for the first time." And that was it. I was hooked, and I've been on this journey for the last 2 years of digging deep into Logic. You remember I went and bought that Mac Studio computer. You came over, helped me set it up, and yeah, it's been this journey ever since. And God, I've recorded more songs than I could even tell you right now, and so I'm just forever grateful to you, man, because like I said, when I got off the dope, y'all, I needed something to fill that void and something that I could have a passion for, that I enjoy doing, that's positive and fulfilling for me. And I just feel like I owe it to you, man. And thank you so much, for your inspiration, man. You've inspired me more than you even know. We were joking before we got on the air, y'all, and I go, "Oh my God, when Shebang brought me over here, if you remember, I was overweight, bro. I was up to like 180. I'm down to 140 now, 135-ish, 140, and living healthy. But I was out of control then, and I bet you were thinking like, "Oh my God, who is this fat ass old white dude
who's
my brother brought over?"
Bringing around
What's that, bro? I didn't hear.
I was like, "Who is my brother just bringing around?"
Yeah. But then it's like we made this connection, man, and we've been buddies ever since. And like I say, I say this a lot about your brother, but it's kind of like with you too. You guys remind me like of an old soul, and I'm an older guy that refuses to grow up, so we kind of meet in the middle. But when it comes to music, it's like this universal language, isn't it? There's no age gap or anything. And so let's get off that and talk a little bit about this, because one thing I love about you guys is, to me at least, your music is very eclectic. You're not stuck in one single genre. I mean, you guys have a style to me. There's a clear style. but it's like it's a little different than a lot of the stuff you hear today. And so with all that said, I want to go ahead and play, because we're going to do about a half dozen clips of some of y'all's stuff. And, like I said, one thing I love about you guys is you do stuff as a group, but you also have some of your solo stuff, and you encourage and support each other on that as well. And so this first song is the first one that I ever heard by you, Shu, that when I heard it after we had worked together, I had no idea you had skills like that. And I was like, whoa, bro, this guy's the real deal, and I was in the studio with him. I was feeling starstruck like after the fact, if that makes sense. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and play a clip. And this tune right here is it's not called Mixed Up, it's called Deja Vu. And but there's a lyric in it, already feeling mixed up. So let's go ahead and give it a listen, and then we're going to talk with you guys a little bit more about this one.
Man, this is just the beginning. Yeah, we do this shit for real. Yeah, I'm already feeling mixed up. So don't ask me where I've been, I can make the speakers bump. I'm already feeling mixed up. So don't tell me how to live, I'm just doing what I want. Young motherfucker came in with the work. Steady do no wrong when you catch me in the dirt. Talking 6 feet down, talking dig deep earth. I was scared I would drown, so I dip feet first in the pool with my head on the ground. Got my feet in the clouds, I'm not feeling left out. I don't know what to do about you, about him, and I'm through with the bullshit. Yeah. Anybody wanna fuck with me, you better watch where you step when you walking with a G. Anybody wanna fuck with me, you better watch where you step when you walking with a G. Look, yeah, I'm already feeling mixed up. So don't ask me where I've been, I can make the speakers bump.
Yeah. Ooh, man, you can make the speakers bump, bro. I was telling them before that, look at Dean's even vibing to that, man. And Dean's like an old classic rocker, bro. I'm telling you, man, their music is off the chain, y'all, for those watching and listening.
That sounds good. Sounds good.
Rarehearted is for the people.
Yeah.
Rarehearted is for everybody.
For everybody. And I was telling Shu, y'all, that one of the lyrics I love is, one of my nicknames, because my name's Glenn, is G. And then my son, we call him G all the time. And you got that lyric in there, if you fucking with a G, and, I just love it. So, but I got to tell you, Shu, I'm just saying, man, you ain't no spring chicken anymore, because you look pretty young in that video, because that tune's a few years old.
That was like 2 years ago,
a couple years old. So, man, I tell you, the moments go by quick. Yeah.
I was trying to grow the beard out at that time.
Right. Well, tell us a little bit about that song, because, hey, man, I want to hear, like I said, we want to do a little deep dive. What was the inspiration for that? What does that song mean to you? And tell us a little bit more about how that one came together.
Honestly, that song, like, I was just trying to have fun on it, like, I was just making the beat. There was no, like, whenever I make music, there's never really an intention into what I'm gonna make or like put out. I kind of just make it. And then that song, it was really just about like rap, like just rapping, like purely rapping. Like,
right.
I feel like music is missing that too, like strictly rap.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wanted to have fun on that track too.
And I could tell you were, bro. And the video was outstanding too. Love the video. So, okay, well, let's play this next clip, because y'all have a tune together as a group called X. And what I love about it is it features all of y'all in these little runs on it. And so, Shu, we just show kind of the tail end of your little run on this, and then we go into one of the other guys, and then I'll show another clip. And we definitely want to talk to your bros next to you. So let's play this next one, and then we'll talk.
We independent. All I depend on is the beginning. Like, who are you kidding? Rarehearted, I don't need no friendship. Little boy, get the fuck on my mentions. Little boy, get the fuck on my mentions. Yeah.
Bricks on the spot, this is treasure. I'm ahead of the curve, trendsetter. Don't lie to me, who do it better? Putting in work, I'm applying that pressure. Taking the stress off, got me together. Escaping the world, I'm untethered. Messing with big dogs, thought you knew better. Making a statement, one to remember. Run with the winners, pray for the sinners. All of us pros, it's not for beginners. My old girl was extra, I had to forget her. You don't got masters, you not a contender. You don't gotta worry, I always deliver. Competition, get it, put in the blender. Turn back around, peace do not enter. Boss out of town, don't fuck with your members. Don't need handouts, I'm hot in the winter. Might fuck around and pop out in the fist.
Wow, man, we over here dancing. I looked over at the guys on the couch. They were all dancing. So our boy Keon couldn't be with us here today, but y'all got to, oh, look, Dave X just chimed in. Rarehearted. Yeah. Welcome, Dave. So tell us a little bit about it. I wish he could have been here with us today, but like I said, we'll try to get him in here down the road. Oh, Kelly's chiming in. That's fire. She got like 8 of them up there. Yeah. So
Somebody
tell us
call
about
the fire
that.
department.
Yeah. So what about that song? One of y'all tell us a little bit more about the song. How did that song come together, and what was your inspiration for it?
So X is the first song on our project, Full Circle. And honestly, that song to us was just all about energy. It was all about letting all of us have our shine.
Yeah.
And just going in, you know. We wanted to
sound hungry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Starving artists. You know?
Right.
It was us talking our shit for real.
Yeah. That's pretty much what it was about. You know, it's that first track, so we wanted to, you know, set it off, give them that energy. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, tell you what, let's go ahead and play the second clip from that same tune, then we'll talk to you.
We got next, wait on arrival. I'm on sin, I'm on bliss. That's me and Kyra. When is they win? When is they get? Most of them five. You not twin, life got twist. You're not alright.
I've been the illest, they know it. Copy and mimic my style, I'm goated. You stay doing gimmicks just to get noticed. I'm just a kid, lock it and loaded. Still looking for where the opponents. I'm like Mona Lisa. Too hard to decode it, my ratio golden. You fake motherfuckers are actors. Jennifer Lawrence won't show you my masters. That's cause I own it. Best talk to me proper. Head of the state, come fuck on the monarch. Make you my queen, they never design her. Rap the designer, Gucci, Prada, Dolce Gabbana.
I love it, man. That is hell yeah. You know it, bro. You know, I got to tell you, your hairstyle in that last one reminds me of that boy Gene Simmons from Kiss. The way you had it pulled back. Did everybody tell you that before? Yeah. But Dean, were you thinking the same thing? I see you smiling there.
No, that you say it. I get that a lot. Yeah.
But I love it, man. I just love the vibe, y'all. And I just think it's so cool that, you know, again, you guys each took a run on that jam.
Yeah,
and
that's what it was all about, really.
Yeah. Well, what was your take on it, bro? You got the mic in your hand. Tell us a little about your involvement with that tune. What were you into when you were doing that one?
Honestly, it was like we went into that whole project Full Circle trying to get some performance songs, because that is the goal for this year and next year, is to get us into a concert.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta see us live for real. We got so much music, and X is the start of it.
Yeah, well, I love it, man. And oh man, I'd be the first to buy a ticket to y'all's show. I definitely want to see y'all perform live, because you know what? I haven't seen y'all perform live. And you know, I'm just so into y'all's music. And you know what? That's another thing, talking about even like kind of joking about the whole Gene Simmons thing, but I just fucking love y'all's style, man. And I think it's fucking awesome that y'all are even thinking that way, because you know, we're going to show some other stuff in a minute here, but y'all take that to heart. Like, you know, you got that style where you're wearing the suits and ties. I don't know if y'all gonna like this or not, but I'm just gonna say it. Y'all reminded me, when I saw that whole vibe, I was thinking, man, these motherfuckers look like New Edition when they were young back in the day. Because, you know, you got style, man. And, you know, so many groups now, I get it. I ain't judging. I like it all. You know what I mean? But some of them, man, they don't get that the dress is important. Like today, we're just casual, man. We're wearing t-shirts and shorts and stuff. But when y'all are performing, man, you take it for real, and you dress and you look classy as hell, you know, and then go hard at it. And I like that. It's kind of a little contrast there, if that makes sense, you know? So, okay, y'all, I want to go into this next tune, because this is also one of my favorite tunes by y'all. And you know, this is one y'all did together as a group, and this one's called Greenland. So let's go ahead and play this clip, and then I want to ask you some questions about it. Yeah, there you go. Check it out, y'all.
Are you okay? Do you need a friend? Follow me. I'll keep you safe.
safe. Don't wanna pretend like I got 100 in the safe. Rari in the bin, sitting right next to the Wraith. You don't understand, but I'ma keep going. Bitch, we gon' keep growing. Shout out to the real ones, real love gon' keep showing.
I got it on tape, no crime scene. My eyes beaming like Sky D. We three-peating like Chicago. This rainy shit on my poncho. Hold your shit up how we came to win. Look, when this money coming in, we paying rent. I don't give a fuck. I'm doing what I please. That's the difference. You don't really wanna talk to me. Hey.
Oh man, I'm so proud of y'all, them Detroit City boys, man. I see shit like that. It makes me so proud to be from Detroit. And again, I don't want to sound condescending, y'all, but I am. I'm so fucking proud of you, man. You are definitely doing Detroit proud. And I gotta tell you, man, not only is the music off the chain, but these videos, man, y'all are doing a great job on the videos. So anyway, I was joking with the guys while I was playing. I love that one part where you go, ow, 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 you know, and I made a reel, and that's how I started it, because I did a few reels promoting the show today. And so tell us a little bit about this song, because I'm just curious, you know, what was the inspiration for it? What's the meaning behind it? Either one of y'all, who wants to talk about this one?
That's the song where we actually started taking videos serious, like very serious, and we wanted to up our quality with the music, with the mixes, but mostly that video, it was done by our friend Blanco.
Blanco's out in LA, ain't he?
I think he's back in Detroit.
Oh, is he back in Detroit now? Okay.
He's mobile.
Yeah, I know you were out in LA when you doing some work with him for a while, something like that. Yeah. Well, that is one of my favorite tunes, y'all. So, okay, now we're going to do another clip. And this one, I was telling Shu that this one, it's got a different vibe, y'all. This is what I mean by y'all's music. It is, to me, it's so eclectic. It's not like y'all just are like pigeonholed into this one genre. And this one is called Dial Up. Yeah. Oh man. You know, that one, I'm telling you, man, I have I was telling you, Bang, and I've told so many people, that one reminds me, just the kind of vibe and beat of it, of that genre of that boy Fat Boy Slim. And it's just got a similar vibe to it. And so I just love it, man, because I'm just gonna say, I mean, you guys please correct me if I'm wrong. I think of you guys more as rappers than any other genre. You know, obviously you got the pipes, you got the vocals, you have some variety there. Well, okay, give him the mic, because he's pointing at each. I want to know what he means by that. Give him the mic. What do you mean by that?
These two got the vocals. I gotta have that auto tune for sure. Keon goes crazy as well. Too.
But Kyle is the best, like, lyricist. He's got the pen game. He's got the best, like, rap style, if you want to say rap. Like,
I started off rap, and that's what I love the most. So keep to it.
Well, you know what? You mentioned auto-tune. Let's talk about that for a moment, because, you know, we've all heard it, man. There's like people like, oh, the motherfuckers using auto-tune, man. You know, there were people with talent until auto-tune came, you know, and it's like, fuck all that, man. You know, I love it. And I know such talented artists that love auto-tune. Yeah, you know, Shu, you know, I'm a big fan of that girl, Benny, that me and your brother went to see down at the shelter at St. Andrews Hall, and we met her and got to talk with her and stuff. That girl has the pipes, man. She can sing, but she loves auto-tune too. And she put a little something out there. She did this tune with a lot of auto-tune on it, and she knew some people were going to cop attitude about it. She was like, hey, if any of y'all have an attitude with the auto-tune, she goes, fuck you. Basically, because another reason, as I alluded to, Shu, that I'm so grateful to you is because my journey has been, if you work in Logic or Pro Tools or whatever, you start learning about all these different plugins and special effects and all that you can put on your voice, And then here's something I'll say, not to belabor this issue, but I saw an interview with Julian Lennon, John Lennon's son. There was this interview on YouTube, and this dude was talking to him about different things. And he goes, hey, man, I want to ask you a question. All these young artists now using auto-tune. He said, do you think your dad would have embraced or liked auto-tune, or would he have been like, nah, fuck all that? And without skipping a beat goes, oh, my God, my dad would have loved auto-tune. He said, think about it. The Beatles were known for experimenting with different things in music and different sounds. And then he went on to say, he goes, and my dad hated his voice. He didn't think he had a good voice. And we're like, what? John Lennon? But he didn't. So he would have loved auto-tune. So the point I'm making is, I don't want to sound all defensive because I use it, I can sing like we talked about a little bit, the Rat Pack style and stuff like that, without really putting a lot of sauce on it. But there's some stuff that if I don't auto-tune it, it's like I would never let somebody hear that shit, So anyway, that's why I come down off my soapbox, y'all. But I love auto-tune, so I follow you, bro,
I feel you on that.
Yeah. But so anyway, yeah, that tune, I love that tune, man. And what was the inspiration for that video shoot? Because you guys were like in a hotel room for that one, right?
So that was Kyle's first video that he ever shot, directed, edited. So we were like, okay, let's just do it ourselves. Let's figure it out. And that's what it took. Like, we figured it out. We had a version of the video, and then he completely just scrapped it. And he's like, all right, we're going to do it like this. And that's what this video came out to be. And it was really us just, again, like getting our feet in the water, trying to get used to things, and just trying to create art.
Yeah, exactly.
Without spending $400.
Yeah, there's no budget for any of our videos or music. Like, everything is self-funded, everything is independently done. Like,
for now, because I'm predicting, man. I'm predicting one day I'm gonna be like, I knew them boys Rarehearted before, because y'all are going places, man. I really believe that. I really do. You're just so talented. And so I want to go to this next song, because this one, it's got a different vibe than, like the one we just heard. Like I said, it kind of almost had that, Funk Soul Brother, Fatboy Slim kind of vibe to it, where this one is kind of more of like a mellow, I don't want to flower it up too much and say love song, but it's definitely got more of a mellow vibe to it. I got to tell you, bro, I just fucking love this tune called I Want to Know. Oh, Cole C in the house. These guys are something the industry needs. Say that, Cole. Welcome, and thanks for checking in on the show. Yeah. So, okay, let's check this one out. One of my favorite Rarehearted tunes. And, oh, look, wait, what was that? I want to see the comment. The mindset these guys have are unbelievable and unmatched. Cole C chimed in again, and I couldn't agree more. Shu says, shout out, Cole. So, okay, let's go ahead. Oh, there's Dave again. Woohoo! Agree, Cole. Yeah, we got a whole chat. Yeah, we got a whole chat room full of people and viewers and listeners. But okay, man, I want to play this clip because I do want to hear about the inspiration for this tune a little bit more, because this is one of my favorite tunes. So let's go ahead and play it.
I wanna know this shit. I wanna know this shit. What's it taste like? Can we make right? Can we take flight shit? I'm okay right here. I'm okay right here. I wanna know this shit. I wanna know this shit. What's it taste like? Can we make right? Can we take flight shit? I'm okay right here. I'm okay right here. See the moonlight, get the moon right. I want you right here. Give me 2 nights just to prove that you're not too nice yet. See the moonlight, get the moon right. I want you right here. I want you right here.
Wow, man, I just love that tune. And you know what? I definitely want to ask you some questions about that. I'll also say that, bro, you were just saying, y'all do these videos, they're low budget and, not spend a lot of money, but they're fucking high quality videos. And so, Dean, I wanted to get a little bit of your take because, I know you've done your share of music videos and for like rap artists and stuff. And,
Oh, throwing me under the bus now.
well, I ain't throwing you under the bus, but I'm just curious. These guys
The
are
old school
working-
bus.
Yeah, the old school bus. But they're working, like you said, I just used the phrase on maybe a shoestring budget, but I think they're like top shelf videos, and you're making the best of the resources you have for today. So, Dean, what's your take on them videos? I think they're fucking awesome. What would you say?
It's a new day, a new age of videos that the rules are being rewritten.
Yes.
And it's exciting. I'm all over it. It's I'm so glad I don't do that anymore. But
Well, I got
you know what? There's a reason why, across the board, people are becoming more and more proficient with even their cell phones and shooting films and videos and whatnot. So I'm thinking that there's the twerkers on TikTok, they're making better videos every day, and I gotta love it. It's a brave new world out there. So I'm I kind of wish it was happening 30 years ago, but but okay, here we go.
Yeah, well, no, I appreciate your take on it, Dean. And Shu, you and I were talking before the show today that, I put some reels together promoting y'all being on today. Yep. And that was just me going on Instagram, playing with the different transition and the glitter falling down and trying to match the lyrics to the pictures. And you can get creative for even just the lay person, if you will. But I just got to say, y'all, me and Dean, we've been working together for years. And back when I lived in Orlando, I'd just show up at his studio every now and then, and he'd have some of these local Orlando rappers there, man, and they'd have the girls all decked out in the shorts and sexy looking women and the big old gold chains and stack of money and the generic rap videos, if you will,
cars and girls,
and
that money,
studio, and then they were cool. I liked them. I actually liked them. Dean wasn't the biggest fan of his own work, but I liked him.
No. It wasn't that. It was, I guess I was in that arena where really crappy music gets laid out before me, and I'm supposed to go, hey, you want to work and make money and make a video? And I go, great. Now let me hear the music.
Yeah, but see, you got to remember, music is a very
no. There is such a thing as bad music. Okay,
you know when there's a bad song.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
you just know.
No, I give all that. That's true. That's true.
I had one video. Maybe it was 10 years ago. The woman came in. She's from like Trinidad or something like that, and she had this song, and she was doing a kind of a, she's trying to do one of these really ultra sexy rap videos, and I made and the music was just not great. And she could have used auto-tune. Auto-tune was being used 10 years ago. Right. And she didn't. And I made the mistake, and the music wasn't that great. It was a little sexy, but it wasn't that great. But then I made the mistake of asking her what other songs she had. Right. And I got to tell you, she sounded like someone was strangling a cat.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad. It was just bad. And I can't smile and say, oh yeah, I've turned away more people just because I go, dude, I'm not your guy. I'm just not your guy.
No, I get it. Well, you know what? I appreciate your take on it all, Dean. But what we just talked about, I think is important because all the more props to you guys that you're doing these high quality
Oh yeah,
videos
absolutely.
on low budget, where back in the day, Dean would have these major productions going on in his studio, and y'all's quality in the videos you're doing now are even better than all that stuff. So I
Oh
just
yeah.
love what you're doing.
No, great videos,
Yeah,
but great music, and
yeah, great music.
you
Yeah.
guys are really, you guys have got your own thing going on.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
you're
great.
killing it. You're killing it. Well, hey, on that note, man, we're going to play one more clip and then we're going to talk some more. I just been wanting to get some of the music out there so our viewers and listeners, understand why I've been so excited about you guys. Now, I got a little story about this song. This is from y'all's latest release called Full Circle. It's like y'all's CD, your album, and I use different platforms. I listen to SoundCloud, Spotify, whatever. My favorite is YouTube Premium. And when you listen to different kind of music, it'll put together playlists for you. And so, based on your algorithms and your listening habits. And so I was telling the guys, I have, Cole says, hey, this gives us our time to shine with our generation. You guys had CDs. Well, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad he put that out there. What is the proper terminology when you put a compilation out there like that? What do you call it now? An EP or
honestly, dude, like at this day and age, since there is no physical music being bought, not I wouldn't say no,
it's
but
digital.
Like,
I
low.
get it. Yeah,
There's no like you can call it whatever. I can call
albums came
People
back.
still call it an album.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be vinyl to be an album.
But vinyl came back. It's coming back.
Vinyl's coming back.
People are printing vinyl. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure CDs.
I think cassette tapes are gonna make a run back.
Oh yeah, 8-track.
Yeah. Oh no, we don't want no 8-track. Man, that would suck. When I was younger, bro, I'd be riding down the road in my car, and you'd be in the middle of the best part of the song, and all of a sudden you'd hear this. So it'd switch over.
Hey, I'm glad we didn't have to go.
Do y'all know this boy Dev Ravel? Is that one of y'all's friends? He said, "Go babies," So we got another person.
That might be one of my family members.
Yeah, we got a busy
out-
chat,
shout
lots
out
of
to you.
viewers and listeners once again.
Go ahead and play that video, Glenn. 'Cause
Yeah,
we got a
this
question
one-
coming up.
Okay, well, here's one that I want to tell a little quick story about. I started telling that, YouTube Premium will generate these playlists for me. And I was telling the guys, I was getting ready one day and I got
my
music
mom.
vibing while I was in the bathroom
Love you,
shaving and
Mom.
shit. Different songs are coming on this playlist that YouTube generated for me. And I'm listening, go, oh, yeah, I like that one. Oh, I like that one. And then
Mama.
this song came on and I'm like, damn, I remember that song from somewhere. I love this jam. Who the fuck is that? And I go look at my phone and it's fucking Rarehearted. I'm like, that's the voice I know, man. So this is my favorite song off the album, is what I'm going to call it, Full Circle, and it's called MIA. So let's go ahead and listen. Then we're going to talk to you about this song. Here we go.
What you gonna do when I'm in my head? No, I can't get through when I'm in my head. Shawty calling news when I'm in my head. Don't know I can lose when I get in my way. What you gonna do when I'm in my head? No, I can't get through when I'm in my head. Shawty calling news when I'm in my head. Don't know I can lose when I get in my way. My way, my way. She ain't got no sense of love, it won't waste. We've been bouncing back and forth to both ways. Switching up your plans to come to my place. The things we crave, got you up late. If you ever down, let's blow my way. I've been going ghost since in my head.
They don't wanna see me in my A. They don't wanna see me in my bag. They don't wanna see a W with my name attached. They don't wanna see the whole crew fly jet. Open doors get closed, but the possibilities endless. My pops don't know, but I'ma get everything I manifested. Time will show what is really of my interest. Some won't grow if the time isn't invested. Down this broken road, I piece together flows. I don't know where it goes, but I won't turn to a barcode. Too many lost souls, too many lost souls, too many lost souls.
Too many lost souls. I love that, man. I will be honest. I edited those this morning, and I thought that was the perfect fucking line to end it on. Too many lost souls, man. Having to do with, some of what this show is all about, man. We're trying to help people who, there's too many lost souls out there, y'all. So I got to ask you a question, Ramos. This is the kind of shit. This is how my crazy mind works. I'm looking at the artwork for the cover of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's wearing a white shirt and a tie.
Yeah.
You got on another one. Was that planned or
No,
was that...
it's just because I didn't have a black suit.
Oh,
so
okay.
like I was like, all right, well, you know, suit, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but you know what? Check this out. So I'm, not to compare apples to oranges, but I love it because it made that pop.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it reminded me of, like, remember the Beatles, Abbey Road? They're all fucking walk across the street,
Yeah.
but Paul ain't wearing no fucking shoes. And that's what people focused in on.
That's so funny.
And so with this cover art, that's what I focused in on. Like, wow, that was cool, man.
I
And
feel like I
so-
would be the one that wouldn't be wearing shoes during a shoot or
Yeah, but
something.
see,
Like
I love hearing stories like that. Here, you look at it and you almost think it was by design, and it was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, no, bro, I just didn't have a suit.
that was like that's the only suit I own. So it's like, all right, well,
Right. Oh, cool.
That's
Well,
funny.
hey, we got another comment from Cole. What's he say? What's your guy? Oh, great. He got a question. What's your guys' thoughts on girl rappers nowadays compared to the early 2000s? For example, the viral lyrics, my pussy pink and my booty hole brown. Oh, good God. I wish I'd have read that before I read it.
Cool.
But you know what? Hey, man, it is what it is. On this show, we put that content warning on the front end that, man, sometimes we use strong language on here. We'd like to keep it real, so it is what it is. What's y'all's take on that, and what do you got to say about that? You gotta be careful, bro. Be careful now.
Here's my filter take on it.
Right.
So like,
Well,
music is music. If you
Mhm.
enjoy it, you enjoy it.
I guess maybe he's asking you if any of you guys are fans of girl rappers right now.
Like Doja Cat.
Who do you
has
listen
pretty
to? Who do you
raunchy
listen
lyrics.
to?
There's such a small handful of female rappers that I genuinely like. Like I cannot say I don't want to throw names out there, but like the top names, like I don't enjoy listening to that. It's just not for me, but that doesn't mean that it's not for like anybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, like
There's
I
the
love
audience.
like Doja Cat, for example, and not that all her stuff is rap, but hey,
she
man,
can rap.
she gets
She can
raunchy,
rap.
and I love a strong, independent woman. I'm listening to her shit, going, "Go, girl, go!" You tell her, man, this ain't just for the boys, So
Rhapsody for sure. One of the best lyricists out there.
Right. And hey, I want to also mention, I got to send a shout out to my boys back in Sacramento, Moving Forward Music, Tyler and Josh. And I went to an album release party. In fact, your brother Shebang went with me, bro. And they had about 5 different girls, artists rapping there as warm-ups, and one of them was this girl Spittles. And shout out Spittles if you see this. And she was awesome, man. I loved listening to her stuff. So I guess it's just a matter of preference. Hey, Cole's chiming in again. He says, X, Selfish, and MIA, hardest songs ever. Yeah, for the rest of y'all, man, definitely go check out the Full Circle compilation and release, because it is off the chain.
Out now.
And then, look at Linda chiming in. She says, hi to all the Detroit peeps from a transplanted Detroiter. She's down in Jacksonville, Florida. So,
Is that our trucker friend?
Yeah,
Is he a trucker?
Linda's been on the
What's
show
up,
before.
Linda?
Yeah,
What's up,
yeah.
Linda?
So Linda, when she's out on the road, I know, Linda, you be bumping that Rarehearted in the truck, right? While you're driving and shit. So welcome, man. We got a lot of people chimed in today, y'all, because I know a lot of people were really wanting to see and hear y'all on the show today. So, we talked about some, and there's Dove X, MIA. Hell yeah, bro. That is the jam. That's my favorite. That whole album is awesome. That is my favorite tune. But let's talk a little bit more about Full Circle. Oh, Pete says, I can see why you prop these guys up so high. Great stuff. And I got to tell you, bro, you're coming from Pete, that is a high compliment. Pete is one of my old friends. He's from my generation, y'all. Rock and roll drummer. And I'm talking, they reached that level, bro, and his whole family is musical. So, Pete, man, thank you for that comment. Yeah, man. Maybe one day we'll get together with Pete and y'all can meet him, but he's a real one for sure. But yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about the whole Full Circle compilation, y'all. I know y'all worked hard on that and for a long time. So just, whatever it is, you can tell us about it. What was the inspiration? How did it all come together? How's it been being received? Obviously, great with our viewers and listeners. But what's your feeling on the whole thing, bro?
This EP, it was 15 tracks at one point. I mean, there is a whiteboard in this
Yeah,
room
it's literally right there.
Yeah.
with all of the tracks that were supposed to be on it
Yeah.
and that didn't make it because we ended up like just saying like it needs to be short. Like everything needs to be heard, and we can't just put out like albums that they only listen to the first three to five songs on. You know what I'm saying?
People's attention
Right,
span,
right.
you gotta
Yeah.
cater to that,
Yeah, that's true.
Full Circle was in the making for probably a year and a half, and 3 of the songs were done for a year, literally. And the the concept of the album is really not conceptual, but like full circle meaning um we're trying to bring, like you said, the suits. We're trying to bring that class back to rap.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Say that.
And it's full circle from where we were, from where we started. Like I'd say that is one of our first releases that we like truly believed that people were gonna hear it and understand who we were.
Yeah, I love that, man. What about the rest of y'all? What was y'all's take on the compilation? Tell us a little bit about, putting the project together and the process and all that.
So yeah, like Kyle said, it was probably in the making for like a year and a half. The first song we had was Selfish, and
Right.
it was just me on the song, and Keon had made the beat. It was just drums and a melody, like
right.
simple, like simple is always good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the whole in my eyes, Full Circle is like it's just who we are, like at a higher place from who we were. So when we started, like we were young kids, we didn't know how to work programs, but we knew we wanted to make music, and Kyle was the first one to do that, and he got us all on to making music and like getting a laptop. And I remember like Ramo and like Kyle and even me and Kenny, like we were all saving up money to like get our own computers and shit so we could like, start making music. So it's really just it was kind of like a self-rewarding project too. Like, oh, we've come this far, even though it may not show. Like, it definitely, if you look at it in a grand scheme of 2-3 years, like we've made a lot of progress.
Right,
So
right.
it was a good project for sure.
Yeah.
Stamp in time for us.
What was that, bro? I didn't hear you.
It's a stamp in time.
Oh, a stamp in time. Ramo, let's hear your take on it, man. Because
I think with each project that we've worked on, or like since we started, like we've been learning a lot about working with each other and just like actually making projects in general, and this one I think is the first one that we were just super confident in. I think that we all sank into that, like into our confidence, into our skills, into like what we want to do more of and what we want to give more of. And for sure. And the name, the title was just so perfect for us because we get into a lot of deep talks, and we noticed that a lot of our conversations were ending the way we started them. And so like we'd always just say, dang, that's a full circle moment. That's a full circle moment. So it was just so fitting, and everything about that project is just, to us, is just so, it's like our baby,
You got a name right down
Yeah.
Everything like you hear and see was like everything you hear and see was all made in this room or at his room or in his room. Like we don't have no big budget studios or anything. This is the studio.
You know what? I mean, not to flower it up, which is one of my favorite sayings, y'all, but I believe so much in like vibes and energy and just being in this studio. And talk about full circle. Shoot, when I walked in this studio for the first time, I was a broken man. I was still getting clean and a little bit dope sick over a couple of years ago. And to be in here today, we were talking before we went on the air today. You were like, damn, bro, I remember before you even started this podcast when you first kind of came up with the idea and ran it by me. And here we are 24 episodes later. And man, we both have kind of gone full circle. So, like I said, even when we started, y'all, with that whole Jamie Daniels Foundation event I attended, man, they're really trying to gear their message toward the youth, that, man, you got your whole life ahead of you, and have passion for things. And they're saying out there now, y'all, it's like one pill can kill, because, let's face it, man, young people, you want to party, have a good time and shit. That shit's tempting, but man, you don't fuck with no perks, no Zans, no whatever, because now, man, they're lacing that shit with fentanyl. And then one of y'all, we were talking earlier, talking about the trank and shit too, you know.
Horrible.
Yeah.
It's spreading fast. Too.
Well, and that's why I'm just so happy, man. Y'all living healthy, going to the gym, staying fit, So let's talk about that just briefly, y'all, because that is kind of, the underlying theme of this show is trying to live clean and shit. How do y'all deal with that kind of temptation? Because, I know you must have boys out there that are partying and you're around that shit, especially in the music industry, man. There's always that shit around. So, and I mean, hey, like I say, I don't judge nobody. Do you? You like to party a little bit? Okay, do you? I'm just saying, man, stay away from them fucking pills because you just don't know what the fuck you might get. So anyway, I would like to hear, how do y'all deal with that temptation, and do you get offered shit when you're out there?
I think honestly, it's finding a balance
Yeah.
within yourself for sure.
Yeah.
Physical like being physical, going to the gym, I feel like it's just so necessary. And I mean, anything like that, anything that's healthy for you to get you that dopamine,
Yeah.
it could be anything really. And like the thing with drugs, with like smoking or drinking, is like, you're giving yourself a lot at one time, so it can be really hard to, like, when you are trying to quit or slow down, it could be really hard because like your brain is just not getting that same amount of dopamine at that point. So it's good to have things like music, like honestly anything. It could be like taking a walk or anything like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, healthy habits. And honestly, like the biggest thing is, like, I feel like it's like shame is like to like not to have shame about it, because everyone deals with that, and I feel like shame makes it worse. And I think shame and guilt are two very very different things. And yeah, I mean, and talk to people, there's a lot of people out there who are willing to help,
Say that,
so
bro.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Wow, what a powerful message, man. And like you just said, finding them healthy outlets. And like I've shared on this program many times and said tonight, for me, man, it became the music. And and I meant that sincerely when I said it, Shu. It's like, God, in a way, man, I feel like I owe my fucking life to you and your brother for inspiring me to go down this path and this journey with learning, production and logic and auto tune, and not having inhibitions about my own voice and laying vocals down. And like you were saying, bro, sometimes I listen to them shit and go, ooh, that's pretty rough. I got to put some auto tune on there, man, or whatever. But it's such a healthy outlet. So I want to ask this question, y'all, and I ain't putting y'all on the spot. You share whatever you feel more comfortable with. But, you often hear artists and most time young people say, well, I get more creative when I'm high, and then I've heard other artists who got clean after the fact saying, well, I thought that was the case, but that shit fucked me up, and once I got clean. So have y'all, how should I say, experimented with that, and what's your feeling on that?
Absolutely. I think that it could definitely help you get into a zone, and definitely help you tap into, I guess, a different side of your creativity. But at the end of the day, I think that creativity is like something we're all gifted with, and it's something that we just have to learn how to, tap into. And it's I feel like it's a necessary process to learn how to do it without any substances, because I think that'll overall allow you to be more creative in so many different avenues in your life. Even just like, I mean, if you work a 9 to 5, like there's ways to be creative in that avenue too, if you learn how to do that. And I think what stops most people is like being blocked, and it's like a fear of that, because when you are using substances, it's kind of like a sense of comfort, because you're also relying on these things, and they, you know what I mean? So it's I guess it's more uncomfortable to be creative without it because it's like unknown. You don't know, like, you don't know what to expect, so
Right.
it takes practice for sure. And
Yeah.
I think it's worth to try.
Well, I'm glad you shit, man. Thank you so much for your honesty,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah,
by the way,
absolutely.
and your openness about it.
Yeah.
I think even for myself, that it's like, even when I first started taking the opiates, y'all, you guys know my story. I broke my ankle. They start prescribing me to opiates. And I remember taking that shit, and I got what they call the wow factor. Not, it doesn't affect everybody like that. But for me, I definitely fell in that category. And I remember saying, like, damn, man, it's like the best thing that ever happened to me. I feel great,
Right, yeah.
man. And it was great until it wasn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. You said it, bro, because, and that's what I think happens. This is just my opinion. I'm curious to hear the other two of y'all give your input on this. It's great until it ain't. So I think, yeah, initially you think like especially, you hear some guys like when they were tripping on acid, like, whoa, man, I made some of my best music. But then you keep taking that shit.
Right.
And then it turns on you, and now the creativity's gone.
I
You
definitely
just burned
think
up
that
all them cells
it
and
can
shit.
definitely help, like, but again, I think it should be taken in moderation and definitely safely, and I definitely believe you have to be in a comfortable mindset to do that, like, already.
Well, and you and
so
I talked about this actually before the show, even, bro, that, I think what happens, and this is where young people, I think, get in trouble a lot is, you get that wow factor. And for some of us, that's cool and everything. And we can do it once in a while.
Yeah.
Then for some others, it's like you get that wow factor and you're like, damn, I can feel this good. I want to feel this good all the time. So now all of a sudden you taking that shit every fucking day, and then you just cross that line. You don't even know necessarily when or where it happens, but all of a sudden you cross that line, and now it's like you either stay loaded every day or none at all. They ain't no in between anymore, and so you got to be real careful with that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? So how about you other guys, man? What's your take on this whole thing? Do you guys get tempted in the club, or I mean, how do you avoid that temptation?
Honestly, when I was little, I had a family member that went through addiction, and that opened my eyes a lot to like the consequences and everything early, which is really good. So
right.
I stayed away from a lot of the parties throughout all of high school and after. And honestly, I got a good got a good mindset about it. And when I do make music, I do get high sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's a difference when you're not high. It's like there's clarity in the lyrics.
Yeah.
That's like a major thing.
There's no like cloud to your judgment.
Yeah, 'cause when I'm high and I'm writing, I'm also thinking about what other people would think about it.
Right.
And I mean, it stops you. That's like a creative block itself. Is just comparison. We all know, like, comparison is the thief of joy. And yeah, I was using.
I like that, man. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I got to remember that, man. Comparison is the thief of joy. Woo,
Really
that's a good statement, man. I ain't never heard that one before. I love that.
Comparison will take you away from what you truly want and what your true intentions were in the first place.
Yeah, we get caught up in what other people think, and it's an old saying and a cliche, and I've said it on the show many times. I bet y'all have heard it before, but somebody told me a while back, man, what other people think of me is none of my fucking business. Obviously, when you're doing art and music like what y'all are doing, yeah, you hope other people like your art and enjoy your music and all, but hey, I'm just doing me, man. If y'all like it, great. If you don't, then you don't have to listen, But shoot, I got to ask, I don't want to beat this topic to death, but I am curious your opinion on it too, bro. Because when you're young, man, it's like, y'all know some of my story, man. I DJ'd in bars and clubs for years, and I ran into some real troubles, man. I got all caught up in the whole party life, man. The blow and the smoke, every fucking thing. Thank God I survived it, and I'm still alive to tell the story. But I do know, man, when you work in the music industry, man, that shit is everywhere. there, and you can get carried away real easy. So I like what your bro said. Sometimes you got to find that balance, man, and not get cross that line where you're just getting fucked up all day every day, because then you ain't got no creativity. So what's your take on it, man?
So my take on it is like, you know, people will do what they do, but when you're creating, it should be coming from you. And I feel like when you're high, you are not yourself at all. And like, in my belief in creativity is we get it from good orderly direction, God.
Yeah,
so
say that.
when you're high, you're kind of like snipping that connection you have with God, so you're not really getting the full creative justice you can do to your work.
Right on,
but
bro.
don't get me wrong, like there's great artists. Like people will argue like Eminem made his best music when he was fucking using it.
Hey, I love that
like,
Relapse album, man.
yeah, and
that
like
3
even Juice
a.m.
World,
and all
like
that
rest in
shit.
peace,
Oh,
like
man.
all those young artists who passed
Yeah,
away
yeah.
from like drug overdose and whatnot. Like, yeah, they were using, but they made great music and they touched millions of kids' lives.
Yeah.
Like, you can't deny that either. And like me personally, like I intern at a studio east side Detroit, so I saw all kinds of like fucking weird ass people, you know, like dope fiends and shit like that, drug dealers to drug users. And I would see like I would be listening to the music that they're recording, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, what is, like, this is good music to them. But when you're in that mindset of high, like certain things sound good, you know what I mean? Like, for example, like I heard this video saying music nowadays is for the drug user. Back in like the 90s was for the drug dealers. So there's a whole different like approach to it and sound to it. So I mean, definitely, I feel like it definitely like clouds your judgment for sure. But at the end of the day, like your creativity should come from who you are as a person with it. Like no crutches, no lifters, downers, whatever. Like this should just be you.
Yup. Well, you know what, y'all? I can't thank y'all for taking that little deep dive into that topic with me, because you know what? It's scary, man. When you think about some of the artists, you know, just to name, you know, fuck, everybody knows like what happened to Prince, Tom Petty, Juice World, Peep, you know, all these guys, you know, those are older artists from my generation, younger artists from y'all's generation. And, you know, these guys, they didn't want to fucking die. They were just partying or got caught up in a little, you know, whatever. You know, some of them were, you know, I think legit taking them for medical reasons, but then got physically dependent or addicted or whatever the fuck. And then they got bad pills and fucking died, you know? And it's like, God damn, it's scary. And so I'm just glad to have an open conversation with you guys about it. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your honesty and your insight, because I think that's a great inspiration to other young artists. Because I will tell y'all, I know we have a lot of other young artists that participate in watching and listening to this podcast. So I really think y'all, you know, are setting a great example. You know, not to say y'all gotta, you know, take this thing of being a role model, you know, the heart and all that, but people do look up to guys like y'all, you know, and so I just think you're spreading such a positive message, living healthy, going to the gym, talking openly about this topic, because you know what? I really appreciate what you said, bro, about the whole shame thing and all, because, you know, that's for real, bro. Like even at that Jamie Daniels Foundation event I went to, they talked about not only wanting to get to the youth, but also approaching this topic of what they call the stigma, because that is the one of the biggest stumbling blocks when people get a substance abuse disorder, man, is they're so apprehensive about coming out about it or asking for help. Well, what are people going to think of me? I mean, it was even that way with me, bro, starting this podcast, because, you know, I came from the business world where I knew there were going to be a lot of people working in the media and the business world that didn't know that, you know, I was struggling with that. Like, oh my God, what happened to Glenn? That motherfucker's a drug addict. Oh my God, and all that, you know. And so, yeah, I was apprehensive about it at first. And now, man, I wouldn't have it any other way. Like I've said on this show, I've had so many people send us positive messages, DMs, and all that kind of stuff, thanking us for what we're doing. And so to me, that just blows that whole fucking stigma right out of the water, man. You know, it's like something we say on this show a lot, and like we even have in our opening in the promo, you know, if we can help even one person with this program to stay alive even one day longer, then it's all worth it. And certainly you guys have helped spread that positive message today. So I can't thank you enough for being on with us, man. You know, I just feel like we could sit here and talk all night, you know, but I know, man, I don't want to hold y'all hostage, but I really hope to have y'all back on again. Yeah. You know,
Keon's next time.
yeah, we got to get that boy Keon on for real, for real. So before we wrap it up, though, y'all, I do want to ask one more thing. You know, we talked about the Full Circle release, and that's the best word to use. We'll call it the release, right? Instead of a CD or whatever. Oh, we did have a question, though. I wanted to go back to Dove was asking, Ramo asked, what did she want to know, Dean? What was his favorite tune on was it the Full Circle? Just what's your favorite Rarehearted song, Ramo? Dove X wanted to know.
My favorite song on on Full Circle or just
well, you see the question here just says, Ramo, what's your favorite Rarehearted song? So I guess any of them. What's your favorite one?
That's because like I'm thinking of the songs that we don't even have released either. So,
right. So y'all have like the vault, right? Like
yeah, we definitely have a vault.
Oh man, I can't wait to
yeah, we all got like a bunch of music on our hard drives.
Oh,
but
that's awesome.
think I'd say, wow, I actually gotta think of it. Like,
I love
because
that
to be honest, every song has like a memory. You know, it's not even just the song itself. It's recording it and like the overall feeling I had being in the studio with these guys from like start to finish. But man, I'd say probably X or Selfish was one of my favorite songs. Just because it was so fun to make those songs. I mean, for Selfish, I shot that video and edited it, and like I was dealing with a pretty tough time during that time, and like editing it was just so like healing for me, and it felt really, really good. So I'd probably say Selfish for me.
Wow. Well, thanks for that answer, man. And you know what? I really appreciate the thought you put into that answer. You didn't just spurt out some song. And then what you just said, man, that's part of my journey, bro. As you said, doing that was healing for you.
It really was.
And that's what I've been saying all along, where, shoot, man, God, bro, I am so grateful for you being I know I keep saying it, but I'm so grateful for you for embracing me and having as much patience as you did with me when I was first starting off on this journey of doing music this way, because it truly has been a life-saving and healing process for me. So Cole chimed in again and says, yeah, you sit in a room with these guys and talk for at least 30 minutes. You'll leave behind inspired and you'll feel invincible, feeling like you can achieve anything. And man, you are right, Cole. I feel that way too. Yeah, these guys are inspiring. So thank you so much, you guys. First of all, let me come in and take the captain's chair here in y'all's studio, and then being so open and telling us about the inspiration for some of y'all's music. I do want to ask just one more thing, and then we'll kind of bring this, pardon the pun, full circle and wrap this up. Where y'all going from here? I know y'all touched on it a little bit, and you got a lot of unreleased music and stuff, but I know y'all have some other projects coming up, and let's talk with y'all a little bit about that. Shoot, I know you got something in the can coming out real soon, don't you, bro?
Yeah, this Tuesday, so tomorrow at midnight, I'm dropping a double packs, which is just going to be 2 songs, Dance in the Rain and Do It.
Okay.
I produced it. Rama helped me write Dance in the Rain. We're shooting a video for it right now. It's probably not going to come out for a little while.
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
It's a movie. Yeah.
Kyle's dropping a Starfall at the same time too. Like,
right?
Isn't that crazy? Like, we're in the same group, but we're dropping like on the same day too. Like, there's no like clashing of heads.
It's not a competition. It's co-opetition, because I'm sure y'all push each other to
we
do
push
better.
each other. We push each other too, but sometimes there's songs like I'll hear a song and I'll hear like Kyle rap on it, I'll be like, oh shit, I need to redo my verse. Like, I don't want him to outdo me on this. Like, there is a competition. It's a friendly competition.
Yeah.
And we push each other. Like, we want each other to be the best versions of ourselves.
Say
always,
that.
for sure. So.
Say that. Well, I love it. Well, Cole chimed in. We're going until we can't go anymore. Say that, Cole. And Rarehearted for life. I'm right on with that. So, yeah, man. Well, hey, that's like I said when we first started off, y'all. That's one of the things I love about y'all is that you do stuff together as a group. And then you've got your solo stuff together too. And like you just said, man, y'all push each other to do the best you can and inspire each other and encourage each other, and y'all each other's biggest cheerleaders. And that's fucking awesome to have, that kind of bond, man. And I'm just so excited for y'all's future, looking forward to hearing some of that new stuff y'all got in the vault and the stuff coming out. So that's tomorrow at midnight, right?
Sure. Out everywhere.
Okay. So Dean, you got the @Rarehearted on YouTube up there.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So, but let's just, if you would, what's y'all's, favorite social media, and just shout it out in case anybody wants to follow.
Hit us up on Instagram. We go live on TikTok too. Everything is just @Rarehearted. If you Google Rarehearted, like you'll see everything.
Yep.
And then once you go on Rarehearted, like you can find our individual pages. So yeah, definitely give us all a follow. Like we appreciate the support for real. This is surreal to me right now. Like even doing this with you, Glenn, like thank you so much for having us and thinking about us. Like,
for giving us this platform.
Yeah, like,
oh, bro.
Like I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of nervous at first. I was like, oh, like this is cool though. Like it was cool to experience this, and yeah, we'll definitely do another one.
Oh, yeah, you know it, man. We definitely want to have y'all back. So, thank you for the kind words, too. So, once again, y'all, we are coming to you live from Detroit City. Yo, and we are here in the Rarehearted Music Studios in Detroit. Thank you so much for tuning in, y'all. Thank you to the guys from Rarehearted for joining us today. Shout out again, Jamie Daniels Foundation, man. Had so much fun at y'all's event yesterday. And next week on the podcast, we're calling it Back from the D, because I'll be back in the Dare Me Podcast studios in Sacramento, California. And during the week, I'll be editing all the footage I took at that event, as well as a lot of footage I took in downtown Detroit with my boy Pete Falk. He was such a cool guy yesterday to me, chauffeuring me around, saying, "Oh, get a shot of this." He was almost like directing some of the videos I got. We had so much fun reconnecting and all. So anyway, that's all coming up on the show next week, y'all. 6 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 o'clock p.m. here on the East Coast, where we're at right now. So with all that said, Dean, thank you so much for all your behind the scenes work again on the show this week. Dean holding it down back in Orlando, Florida at the PX Digital Studios. Yeah, the guys say thank you, Dean. Shout out, Dean. With all that said, thanks again to the guys from Rarehearted. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you, man.
Inspire love.
Inspire love.
Say that. We'll see you next time, everyone, on the Dare Me podcast. So long. On average, just in the United States, about 220 people die every single day from an opiate overdose. And by the time we finish the show, 8 to 10 people are going to die from an opiate overdose. If we get even one person, one viewer with this program that we might be able to help with some of the information that's shared on here, then it's all worth it. Hey everyone, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to the Dare Me podcast. I'm your host, Glenn Victor. Welcome to the 25th episode of the Dare Me podcast. We can hardly believe that we're already up to episode 25. 25. Very excited about tonight's show. It's going to be jam-packed, full of cool slides, video clips, all the things. Of course, we're going to talk about opioid news coming up a little bit later. We've got some music news. We've got some funny memes. It's going to be a real fun show, but we're going to keep it moving. Believe it or not, we have 64 slides and 24 video clips that we're going to be showing. So this show is going to move along quick. With all that said, we want to bring in our rock star producer and co-host, Dean Baker, who's standing by live in Orlando, Florida. There he is. Dean, welcome to the show. Episode 25. Can you believe it?
The silver anniversary? Yeah.
The silver anniversary of the show. I know it's like crazy. I can hardly believe it. You know, when we started this show, I committed to doing one full year, and I figured 50 episodes because there's 52 weeks in a year. I'd take a couple weeks off for, time off, vacation, whatever. So that means after today's show, we are halfway there. Next week, it'll be 6 months exactly that we started the program. And, of course, today is episode 25. And I was thinking earlier today, bro, after we get that 50th episode in the can, we got to take a break for a little bit. We talked about taking a break and then maybe doing shorter seasons of the show if we continue on with it. And all indications are that we will, based on all the great feedback we've got. Want to say hello to all our viewers, our listeners. You're welcome to chime in the chat room. We're going to really keep it moving along today, though, folks. And, Dean, I just want to thank you again for all your hard work on the show because, like I just said, we got a lot of slides and video clips. I worked hard on putting this program together. It came to, to mind. I was thinking to myself, boy, oh, boy, I sure have become a storyteller. And tonight, definitely going to be telling some stories. So anyway, with all that said, y'all, if you've been following along with a lot of our promos and reels for this edition of the show, and if you're a regular viewer, listener of the podcast, I spent a week in my hometown of Detroit City last week, and boy, oh boy, did I have a great time and packed a lot of things into that trip, and that's what this show is going to be all about tonight. We're going to talk about a couple other things. We got a special shout out to an old friend in Orlando we're going to talk about near the end of the program. We got some music news we're going to talk about and things to that nature, but again, this is really going to be a big recap of my trip to Detroit last week. Before we get into all that, though, I always like to recap what the purpose of this show is, by the way, folks. And it's all about trying to help people who may be struggling with substance abuse disorder or an addiction. Specifically for me, it was opioid pain medication this last time around. I've had a long struggle with addiction my whole life. And, I've spent long periods of time where I lived completely clean and sober. And then I had a couple bad relapses. And this last one, I broke my ankle skating. And I had 2 surgeries. The first one, they put 3 pins in my ankle to hold it all together. And the second surgery, they took 2 of them out. One of them's still in there permanently. And if you haven't figured out where I'm going with this yet, if you haven't heard my story before, they prescribed me with opioid pain medication. And I took it, and it worked until it didn't anymore. And I got hooked and went on a 9-year run with opioid pain medication, and it didn't end pretty. Thank God, I'm so happy to be able to say that as of a week from tomorrow, I will have exactly 2.5 years completely clean from any opiates in this body, living drug-free. And so our hope with this program is that someone may come across it who is looking for a way out of that madness and looking to live their life clean and that we might be an inspiration to them. Again, as I mentioned, this is episode 25. So if you're new to the show, highly encourage you to go back and look and look at and listen to some of our previous episodes. I tell my full story in detail. We have lots of great guests. We talk about all the things that our name Dare Me stands for: drugs, addiction, recovery, enlightenment, music, exercise, all those things, and how they play into trying to get clean and live clean and sober. And thanks, Dean, for putting those hashtags up at the top of the screen. So that's the Reader's Digest version of my story. Again, y'all, we got a lot to get to on this show, so I didn't want to go into too much detail about it. But again, if you're new to the program and you were looking for information online like I was when I was trying to kick dope and get clean, I was Googling things, looking for stuff on YouTube, and I came across some things that are out there. There's good stuff out there, but there's nothing like what we've been doing with this show. And so if you're new and you found us in your search for information about how to get off of opiates, how to kick dope, hang with us. We think you'll enjoy the show. And again, our hope is that we might be able to inspire and help even one person to get off of that stuff and get on with their life. So with all that said, y'all, I'm wearing my Detroit shirt. It's the only shirt I have from, living in Detroit. And so, yeah, I'm showing off my ink today, y'all, because it's a tank. And so, that's why I'm wearing this shirt, because we are recapping my trip to Detroit City. So with all that said, first of all, want to say thank you to our guests from last week. We went live from Detroit City at the Rarehearted Music Studios in Detroit. And I want to send a shout out to those guys. If we can bring up the photo, there we are, of them guys. That's Ramos and Kyle and Bang. And of course, we also want to send a shout out to the other guy in the group as well. God, I'm trying to remember his name. It's off the top of my head. I can't remember it, but they do have one other guy in the group. He had a previous commitment, so he couldn't be there last week. But yeah, took a couple of photos with those guys. There they are, Rarehearted. If you haven't, go back and watch and listen to last week's podcast. And man, we played some clips of their music. These guys are all young guys, early 20s, fresh off the streets of Detroit City. Such a talented group of musicians and artists. And man, they're going hard at it. I mean, in fact, just this past week, since we did the show last week, that boy Bang put out 2 new songs. And he told us he was going to do it when we talked to him last week. He put out In the Rain and Do It. And then Kyle put out one called Starfall. So we want to say congratulations to them guys for everything they're doing, and want to thank them again for being on our show last week and participating in the Dare Me podcast. Highly encourage you to go check their stuff out, y'all. Rarehearted Music. You can catch them on YouTube. They're on SoundCloud. They're on Spotify. All the things. They do stuff together as a group, as well as individual stuff like I just mentioned that Bang and Kyle put out just this past week. And so anyway, moving right along, y'all, we want to talk a little bit more about my visit to Detroit last week. And I was there to attend my nephew Jason and his beautiful wife Chantel's wedding, and there's some photos from that. I just thought I'd show y'all. I was so happy to go, and my dates were my 2 beautiful daughters, Alyssa and Owana. Their husbands couldn't make it, so I was able to have both of them accompany me to the event, and it was just so much fun. We had such a great time. And Jason and I have always been close. I posted these pics on social media. There we are up in that upper corner there. When he was just a little guy, we used to call him JJ. And you can see some pictures of him and I through the years. And Jason is a professional hockey player, and he was a professional hockey player for 20 years. He's doing some coaching now with some kids. He played in Slovakia, where he won the cup. You can see the picture there. And that's where he met his beautiful wife, Chantel. And so I got to tell y'all, on this edition of the show, man, I'm going to be name dropping like a motherfucker. You know, if you're a regular of this show, you know I have no qualms about name dropping. I ain't that proud. And I am so proud of my nephew, Jason, and his story. He played, this is like a dream come true, y'all. I'm about to show you a video here of Jason playing hockey. He's a goalie for the St. Louis Blues. And he played against his hometown team, favorite team, the Detroit Red Wings, a couple of times. When he was starting for the Blues, he got called up, and he played a game in St. Louis against the Detroit Red Wings, and he lost, like literally at the very end of the game. It was so freaking heartbreaking. But man, talk about a comeback story, you know. Oh, it's so inspiring, you know, that whole fell down 7 times, got up 8 thing, man. He came back and played the Red Wings in Detroit at the old Joe Louis Arena, just, you know, like, I don't know, however many weeks later it was. And he freaking beat him, y'all. He beat him in a shootout. And Dean, you remember, you know, I worked with you on putting this highlight reel together that we're going to show here of Jason winning that game. And I'm just so proud of him, y'all. And this all kind of ties together with, my life is just so freaking bizarre, the way things turn out. Because this video we're about to show really ties into the rest of the show in this event that I ended up going to with an old buddy of mine, Pete, who we're going to talk about in a minute. But right now, y'all, want to show this highlight reel that Dean and I worked on together, God, I don't know, freaking 10 years ago or whatever it was, of Jason, my nephew, Jason Bekeshua, beating the Detroit Red Wings in his hometown of Detroit City at the old Joe Louis Arena.
Jason Bekeshua gets the starting goal. Garden City's Jason Bekeshua. Boy, between Bekeshua and Doug Waite, they had to come up with a lot of tickets for friends and family here tonight. Samuelson, he's got it again. And Bekeshua stopped that as the Blues at full strength. They stop Bekeshua. Victory as Lidstrom shoots. And Bekeshua will allow 2 of those goals. Bekeshua got down on that. He's got it now. Goes back to Chelios. Firing one. Bekeshua's got that. Schneider 30 feet out. Bekeshua. Here comes Zetterberg. One-on-one, Zetterberg. Saved by Bekeshua on a good spot. Back of the road, giving it for the multi, and a save Bekeshua again.
So they've gotten within a shot. Youngster Bekeshua has played very well.
Able to corral it. Fire it. Save rebound. Stop by Bekeshua after he stopped Datsuk on the first try. Lidstrom right side. In front. Good stop on Zetterberg by Bekeshua.
Great work by young Bekeshua.
He's from Garden City, where he was born. Up in Dearborn Heights. The lane fires. Save Bekeshua. Rebound cleared. In for left. Out of the air. Fire. Save Bekeshua. Moved by Tripp from the point. Tipped in front. Bekeshua. Stop the rebound. Another stop. Lidstrom again, a drive. Saved by Bekeshua. But here's the look from this angle. Look at this save. Great save by Bekeshua. Bekeshua tonight as he tries to get a win here in his hometown. Here he is, Bertuzzi. And a save by Bekeshua. He must score. Here he comes. He's
with the victory in his hometown. And was he good today? Oh my God, I'm almost getting filled up watching that, y'all. So yeah, man, I am so proud of my nephew Jason. And I made some notes, y'all. I'm just looking because I can't remember it all. That game was back in I believe it was a 06-07 season. And holy cow, talk about a dream come true, not just for him, but of course for our whole family, and that he won that game. It was just freaking amazing. If you're watching, kiddo, love you to death, man. He always razzes me because when he was younger, I went to some of his practices and would take shots at him. His dad asked me if I'd participate. And man, I wasn't that great of a hockey player. I played 2 seasons as a younger man, and he even joked around at his wedding that his goalie coach, who taught you that, had to undo it, But anyway, man, what a great guy. Man, I just, like I say, he was drafted by the Dallas Stars back in 2001, and he bounced around the NHL a little bit, played for Colorado, played for the Washington Capitals, then even went over to Philly. Of course, as you just saw, played a couple of years in St. Louis, had 38 NHL games that he appeared in and some preseason stuff, and then went overseas and played overseas in Germany, Slovakia, where he met the beautiful Chantel you see in the picture there. He played in Seoul, South Korea, Krakow in Poland. He played in North Italy and Hungary and Manchester in the UK. Man, what a life. I just tell you, man, I just love that kid so much. So anyway, yeah, I'm really proud, obviously, of my nephew Jason, and so happy I got to go to his wedding when I was visiting Detroit last week and be there. We had such a good time. And so this, like I said, all kind of ties into how this show came together. It's just so bizarre. If you recall last week, we had someone chime in on the show in the chat room. And there he is, an old friend of mine, Pete Falk, who actually was communicating with today. Pete and I, dating ourselves here, go back a long way. Oh, and I see John Bacashua, John's dad, and I think my sister Carol, his mom, just chimed in the chat room too. Love it. Yeah, I thought y'all might like that. I was a little surprised. But anyway, yep, there's me and Pete Falk. We go all the way back to junior freaking high school. In high school, we were best friends in junior high, buddies all through high school. I didn't remember. I asked Pete how long it had been since we seen each other, and he had to tell me it was 38 years. Holy cow. I'm 61, y'all, and so Pete's got to be the same age as I. Anyway, it's so bizarre that Pete joined our show for the very first time last week, and actually it was the week before, beg your pardon, and let me know about this event that was going on in Detroit last week. So Pete joined the show 2 weeks ago, and we communicated for the first time in 38 years, and he, could hear me talking on the show that I was going to be in Detroit the following weekend for Jason's wedding. And oh, look, Pete just chimed in the chat. Yo, I'm here with my family. Hey, shout out to Pete and his family. Thanks for watching, y'all. So anyway, when Pete told me about this event for the Jamie Daniels Foundation that was going on to benefit those with substance abuse disorder, the Jamie Daniels Foundation, I have to confess, y'all, I knew nothing about it. And, I've been living clean and sober again for 2.5 years, struggled with a horrible opiate addiction. But I live out here in California now, and I lived in Orlando before that. So, I'm just saying, I didn't know anything about the foundation. And so Pete told me about this event going on, And man, it came together. We had to go to this event together. It just seemed like it was meant to be. And in case you didn't know, Ken Daniels, who founded the Jamie Daniels Foundation, has been the play-by-play announcer for the Detroit Red Wings, who we just saw my nephew Jason beat. Had to sneak that in there. I'm wearing my Wings shirt, though. I'm still a huge Detroit Red Wings fan. Always have been, always will be. Anyway, Ken Daniels is the play-by-play announcer for the Red Wings, and unfortunately, man, parents' worst nightmare, his young son, Jamie, passed away. And there's Pete and I, by the way, at the banquet for the event we went to. And this, again, is information on the event that Pete told me about for the Jamie Daniels Foundation. And there's Ken with his beautiful son, Jamie. It's just so heartbreaking. What a good-looking kid. I should say handsome young man. And unfortunately passed away back in December of 2016 from an overdose. He got a hold of some bad pills, y'all, and they were laced with heroin and fentanyl, and he overdosed and died. Ken and his beautiful wife and his daughter have been very open about, their son and brother's story, and formed this foundation for this event that Pete and I went to. And Jamie was struggling with addiction for a little while, and his story is all documented on the Jamie Daniels Foundation website. I highly encourage you to go read it if this is something of interest to you. It's very interesting what happened with him in the treatment industry. And he was really working hard toward getting his life back on track. And then, as I mentioned, he ended up getting a hold of some bad pills and dying. And Ken ended up with his wife and daughter turning a horrible, horrible tragedy into something positive and formed the Jamie Daniels Foundation. And so when Pete and I attended the event, of course, we got to meet Ken. And there's a couple of pictures of him and I together. Pete was, you rock, bro. Pete was being a great photographer, videographer, as you'll see as we continue on with, today's show. But there's Mr. Daniels, and they were so nice to me, y'all. Everyone there, as you're going to see, was just so nice to me and to Pete. And God, man, what a great guy. And we met some other people there as well that we're going to talk about in a little bit. The roast was for Nicholas Lidstrom and also for Thomas Holstrom, a couple of the Detroit Red Wing hockey players. But before we get into that, y'all, let's go ahead and play this next video of the reception that Pete and I attended, just to give you an idea of what a great event that it was. So here's a short video of the event. All right, y'all, we out here, and I just thought I'd get a little footage of this cocktail hour and meet and greet here at the Jamie Daniels Foundation Roast and Toast fundraiser for the foundation. We have met some pretty cool people. There's Thomas Holstrom, Nick Lidstrom right over there. Got some pictures. Mickey Redmond's over there. We're going to go meet with him in a second. Got to meet Ken Daniels, Jamie's dad. He's here. They got all the cool trophies out here. They got, the Conn Smythe trophy, NHL MVP trophy, best defense, best goaltender. There's Chris Draper right there. Got to meet with him. So, yeah, man. We out here, and what a great cause. So, yeah, we're going to talk about it on the podcast tomorrow and again next week. Right now, we're getting ready for the dinner and then the roast and toast coming up in a little bit. Go check out the Jamie Daniels Foundation online. And holler at y'all soon. Peace. Bye. All right, y'all. So, yeah, that gave you a good, idea of what type of an event it was. And of course, the pictures that you just saw up there was with one of the guys that was being roasted there, Thomas Holstrom. And then, of course, Nick Lidstrom was being roasted as well. And those guys are legends in Detroit, man. I mean, Holstrom won 4 Stanley Cups with the Detroit Red Wings. And also Nick Lidstrom. Let's bring those photos back up, Dean. Nick Lidstrom also won 4 cups with. So there I am, and there we are. There's Pete as well with both Holstrom and Lidstrom. I mean, again, these guys are legends, man. Spending like 20 seasons. And by the way, they were from Sweden and came over to play for the Wings. And man, oh man, I mean, just they're like legends, and they even Nick Lidstrom has a nickname of the perfect human, and so they were just so nice, man. I mean, I just can't say enough about this event, and what a great time it was. There we are with Chris Draper, who also is a legend in Detroit Red Wing hockey. He's currently the assistant GM and works together with Steve Yzerman, Izzy, and him trying to bring that cup back to Detroit City. Draper played in the NHL 20 years, 17 of them with the Red Wings. And by the way, I'm so glad Pete was with me because I know all these guys, but Pete recognized them. It would have been hard for me to recognize some of them. I'm sure I would have seen their face and go, man, he looks familiar or whatever, but Pete knew exactly who they were. Definitely a big hockey fan. So anyway, let's go ahead and we're gonna look at. Oh, and wait. There's Mickey Redmond. Gotta show this one because Mickey Redmond, of course, a legend in Detroit hockey. And Pete reminded me actually at the event. I knew this, but he reminded me of it that he was the first 50 goal scorer for the Detroit Red Wings. When I was a kid, he played, and I actually looked up, the Wikipedia on him, and that was in 72, 73. So I would have been like 10, 11 years old. And I was playing hockey then, and yeah, he scored 52 goals that season. And Pete and I both got to meet him, and what a nice man, and in great shape, for an older guy, man. He was just so cool to us. We were so happy to meet him. And then, anyway, let's watch this next video, y'all, because they also had an auction with some really cool stuff. And I just thought we'd go ahead and show this video to give you an idea of some of the cool stuff they had. And then we'll do some more name dropping and show you some other cool pics. Check this out. All right, y'all. So we out here again. Just had some footage of in the room in there. Here we are out here where all the silent auction items are. People mingling. It is going on, and they got some cool stuff that we may or may not bid on. We'll see. Let's go down here a little ways. Oh, there's more stuff over here. Got a Mickey jersey. All kinds of cool stuff. Sticks, pucks, hats, caps.
Well, my girlfriend. I just told me this.
Definitely lots of cool things that people can bid on for such a great cause. So anyway, just thought I'd share a little bit of this with y'all. So, oh look, they got a step and repeat banner. I'm gonna have to get my boy Pete to come out here with me. So maybe get a photo in front of that. All right, there it is. And we did. We did get out there in front of that step and repeat banner and got some photos. So anyway, I just thought I'd show y'all that because, again, if maybe you're joining our podcast a little bit late and wondering what in the hell is all this stuff going on, showing hockey stuff and all, because it was a fundraiser for the Jamie Daniels Foundation to help combat substance abuse disorder. and they really gear their efforts toward the youth as well. They talked at the event about a study that shows, like 90% of the people that develop a substance abuse disorder, an addiction, or OD in their adult life started using as a youth, as a kid under 18 years old. So, yeah, man, it's such a great organization. And again, we met some other really, really cool people there, including Chris Osgood, famous goalie for the Detroit Red Wings, y'all. Ozzy, as he's known as. Pete, again, taking some cool pictures. There's Chris Osgood and Chris Draper together, and there I am talking to Chris Osgood. And there's some other pictures of him with Pete and I. He was so nice to us, y'all. I can't say enough about how nice he was to us. And Stanley Cup winner. And Chris Osgood actually did some training with my nephew Jason, who I talked about earlier in the podcast and showed that highlight reel of. They trained together with the goalie coach, this guy Stan. And so anyway, this is where it all kind of ties together. So freaking bizarre. Because I had no idea this event was going on literally the day after my nephew Jason got married. And I'm bumping into all these hockey players at this event, and a few of who knew Jason. So I mentioned to Ozzy that Jay got married the day before, and he wanted to send out a shout out to Jay and Chantel on their wedding. And so Pete took a video of me, talking to him, and then he actually sends a shout out. So let's go ahead and take a look and a listen to those. So, yeah, that was just a short clip, y'all, but just wanted to show that. And then here he is sending a shout out to Jay.
Jason, congrats on the marriage. Congratulations on the wedding. Good to have you back here. Here you're in Northville somewhere. Hey, look me up if you want to coach them young guys at Little Caesars 12s. Hey, good to hear from you again. Let's connect sometime.
All right. Hey, Ozzy! All right, y'all. Now, I'm sure some of y'all are thinking, man, this guy, he's just like name dropping all over the place. But and of course I am. I had such a great time. I also want to put this out there, y'all, that one of the reasons I thought it'd be really cool to do this in-depth deep dive into that event is because it is a fundraiser. And they've done this thing annually now. I think this was the 5th year. And so next year when they do it, I just wanted to show all of our viewers and for our listeners too, how cool of an event it was, how approachable the guys are that are there. And it really wasn't that expensive at all, y'all. I mean, in the big picture, I know $300 is a lot of money for some people, a few $100. But I think to myself, man, when I was using dope, if something came through, I'd drop a few grand in a New York second to stock up and not even think twice about it, And so for, me to go out and drop a few $100 to go to an event that literally helps save people's lives that are suffering from the same bullshit I was, it was like a no-brainer. And you could actually even get tickets for $125 just to go to the roast, which was hilarious and a great event. But, we wanted to go to the whole banquet and meet and greet and all, y'all. So, again, that's part of the reason I wanted to show this whole thing is so when they come up, with this event again next year, hopefully you'd give it some thought to go, first of all, to help such a great cause, and also to have an opportunity to meet some of these Detroit hockey legends. And it wasn't just hockey players there, y'all. As you're going to see in a moment, there were some really other cool people there that we got a chance to meet. So anyway, shout out Osgood. Ozzy, it was so cool to meet you. If you see this, bro, we appreciate you being so nice to us. And now I also wanted to show some of these because another great reason to go to this event, especially if you're a hockey fan, they had all these cool trophies on display. Now, they did not have the Stanley Cup. That's one that would have been cool, but they had all these other cool trophies. And it was so great to go with my friend Pete because he truly is a hockey fan. And you can see that, they've got the season champ trophy there, the playoff MVP trophy, the top goaltender trophy, the Conn Smythe trophy that I'm standing next to there. And I just thought that, I'd show those photos as well. So now I do want to go to this next slide because once we made our way into the banquet room, y'all, the MC for the evening was another legend. And if you're a hockey fan, you know that this is Mike Doc Emmerich. And oh my God, y'all, it was so cool meeting this guy. Oh, hey, Alexis is chiming in. She says, hey, Uncle Glenn, love you too, sweetheart. It was so nice to see you when I was visiting Detroit. And of course, your brother Jay and your sister Alina. I posted some pics of them on my social media, y'all, if you want to go check them out. Such cuties. Anyway, love you, sweetheart. So yeah, we were in the banquet room and Doc was the MC. Now, he just recently retired, although he's still doing some stuff. But if you don't know, the dude truly is a legend. He called over 3,700 NHL hockey games. He called the Stanley Cup 22 times. I took some notes, y'all. And called 6 Olympics as well. He's in the Hockey Hall of Fame, NHL Hockey Hall of Fame as a broadcaster. And he literally earned his doctorate at Bowling Green University in, broadcasting. And the dude truly is a legend, and he was so nice to us. And of course, having a career in radio and television, the dude was like really cool for me to meet. And so that picture on the left, he was up on the stage after the roast, and I didn't know if I was going to get to meet him in person. So I called out. I said, hey, Doc, can I get a picture with you? He said, yeah, come on, man. And he walked over to the edge of the stage and knelt down. And but then the one on the right, you can see we saw him in the hallway after. And so I went up to him again. I said, hey, Doc, do you mind if I get a little better picture with you? He said, yeah, let's do it. So, man, I got to tell you, I was probably more starstruck meeting Doc than I was even some of the players, coming from broadcasting. The dude truly is a legend. And thank you so much, Doc. He was so nice to us. And then in the banquet, y'all, we met Miriam Illich. And if you don't know who Miriam Illich is, you ought to, especially if you're a Detroiter. I just can't imagine anybody from Detroit not knowing the Illich family. They own the Detroit Red Wings hockey team. They own the Detroit Tigers baseball team. They are legends in the city, have invested millions and millions and millions of dollars in revitalizing the city. Unfortunately, Mike Illich passed away a few years back, but this is beautiful wife Miriam, and we literally sat at the table right next to her, and she was so nice to us. Me and Pete both got to go up and meet her, and just so very approachable. And now, I got to tell you, for me, it was kind of a trip meeting her because the lady and the family is loaded, y'all. They got big bucks. So, Dean, I don't mean to have been ignoring you, but like I said, I've been trying to shotgun through all this because we got a lot to get through. And we're making good progress. We're moving right along here. But just out of curiosity, when we were kids, Dean, you and I kind of in the same age group, to think of meeting a millionaire someday seemed like, oh my God, unheard of. But in today's times, 2023, millionaires, they come a dime a dozen, like all them players I just showed, man, they're all millionaires, for God's sake. I got millionaires in the family, it ain't no big deal. But have you ever met a billionaire? This was my first time. Now, just out of curiosity, how much do you think Miriam Illich is worth? Because I looked it up. Take a guess. What do you think?
I wouldn't even know.
I don't know. It may seem tacky to even bring it up, but I looked it up, y'all, and I'm just going to do it anyways. She is worth an estimated $4 billion. And it was just so nice to meet her, y'all. She was so nice to me. And if you know the Illich family story, y'all, they started the Little Caesars pizza chain in the town that I lived in as a younger man, in my junior high and high school years of Garden City, Michigan. And so Pete suggested, hey, man, let her know we're from Garden City, or kind of sort of however he said it. And so I did. I went up and introduced myself. I said, Miss Illich, do you mind if I get a picture? My name's Glenn Victor, and I do a podcast or whatever. And she said, yeah, sure, let's get a picture. And so while we were posing and Pete was about to take the picture, I said to her, yeah, I grew up in Garden City as a kid. And her eyes like perked up. And then she said to me, what was your name again? I told her. So she definitely knew Garden City. But man, so nice to meet Marian Illich, the billionaire who owns the Red Wings and the Tigers. And I got to say, y'all, it was so cool of them to come out and support this event. And then they did a live auction in the room, and the Illich Foundation agreed to match dollar for dollar every dollar raised during that live auction, which turned out to be like over $100,000 or whatever. So such a generous family, and Detroit is lucky to have the Illich family. That is for sure, in the backyard. So anyway, moving along, y'all. We did end up after the banquet there in the room that I showed in the video, moving across the hall to what they call the soundboard in the Motor City Casino. And you can see here, that's Doc up at the podium, emceeing the thing. And then you've got Holstrom and Lidstrom in the two chairs there in the middle. And then you got the roasters off to the right, which included Chris Draper, Steve Ott, and a couple of comedians and all. And so I thought I'd show y'all a video of the soundboard. This was kind of before everybody else had gotten in there, just to give you an idea. And again, y'all, keep in mind, for this event next year, they'll have different people they're going to roast, but highly encourage you to go check it out, support a good cause, and I guarantee you'll have a great time. So here's the video in the soundboard. All right, y'all, we out here at the soundboard at the Motor City Casino. We just walked across the hall from the banquet hall where we had the cocktail hour and hors d'oeuvres and the dinner for the roast and toast and the fundraiser for the Jamie Daniels Foundation. And now everybody has made their way over here to the soundboard where the actual roast is going to take place. So there's my boy Pete. What up, Pete? He's over there. Hey, Pete. Say hi to everybody on the podcast. Happening. We just literally came over here. Everybody's still making their way in here right now. So, yeah, that's going to be the roast chair, I'm quite sure. Pretty cool venue, though. For those in Detroit, if you've been here, you already know. Look, I got people up in the rafters, too. Great spot for a concert. And now we're about to watch the roast. It'll be starting soon. Peace. There we go. All right, y'all. So, yeah, that gives you a good idea of the room where the roast was held. Now, I got to backtrack because, as I mentioned at the top of the show, y'all, and I know Dean's already probably got this figured out. I did not know if I was going to be able to keep track of all this because we literally have 64 slides, 24 video clips. And so there were a couple that I wanted to show before we got to the whole roast and toast, y'all, and I neglected to show them. So we're going to just backtrack a little bit and show these right now. During the banquet, Mr. Daniels, Ken Daniels, did do a speech. And, you know, I didn't want to be tacky and, you know, just be recording the whole event and all. But there were a couple things that he was talking about that I just thought I wanted to get at least a clip of. So, because I was already thinking in terms of the podcast and wanting to do this. So I'm going to show two different clips. One of them's about a minute and a half, and the other one's about almost 2 minutes of Ken Daniels talking during the banquet. So let's go ahead and we'll play the first one right here.
Thank you. And thank you, Doc. Aren't the greatest announcers always known by just one moniker? In hockey, for Hewitt, it was just Foster. In baseball, it's Vin, and then there's Ernie.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Ernie Harwell was life-changing for one Mike Emmerich, because Ernie was his non-academic advisor for the thesis that Doc was writing and had never been done on play-by-play during his early years at Bowling Green University, and then he got his PhD on that with Ernie advising him in 1976, and that's why Mike Emmerich is known as Doc.
Yeah.
And thank you, Doc, for being on this voyage with us that began in 2019, our first celebrity roast of Mickey Redmond, live in this building. And then due to the pandemic, we followed that up virtually on Valley Sports Detroit with Scotty Bowman and then Brett Hull. And here we are again this year.
So there you go, everyone. That was kind of the intro to his speech and him, you know, giving props and shout out to Doc. And now let's hear a little bit more from Mr. Daniels about some of the great work that they do in the community.
$480,000 to 9 Michigan collegiate and university recovery programs. We have a commitment for $500,000 in the Adolescent Addiction Recovery Center at Children's Hospital of Michigan in Troy, led by Dr. Matt Lacasse. That is what we are doing. That is what your being here tonight is doing, helping us, because the area of prevention, recovery, and reducing the stigma of substance use disorder, or if you like to call it addiction, whatever you want, it continues to need the funding. And that's why we're here tonight. We're here tonight to laugh with a purpose. My son loved to laugh. Jamie's laugh was infectious. Jamie told me at one point, Dad, when I was getting antsy in the summertime, he said, "You're not getting any better at golf," which is why we do a roast and not a golf event. He said, "You're not getting any better at golf, you need a summer job." Well, unfortunately, on December 7th of 2016, Jamie gave me one. But through our loss and our pain, you discover yourself, and you discover our inner voice. And our families, our blended family, we've done that. And with your help, we're doing that tonight. Enjoy the night. Thank you for being here from all of us. Thank you.
Wow, what a classy guy, y'all, and such an inspiration, you know, to, like I said, take a horrible, horrible tragedy, a parent's worst nightmare. Man, I'm trying not to get emotional and filled up, y'all, just, you know, watching him and listening to him. Such an inspiration to take such a horrible tragedy and turn it into something positive that's helping people and clearly, no doubt at all whatsoever, helping save lives. And so, moving along, y'all, as I mentioned, just wanted to backtrack to show those two clips of Mr. Daniels giving his speech at the banquet. We then, of course, made our way across the hall And as Ken Daniels said, laughing with a purpose at the roast and toast. And man, did them guys really give it to Holstrom and Lidstrom. But they were good sports, you know. I got to tell you, you know, if you've never been to a roast in person, they're a little bit different than watching them on television, you know. But if you've ever seen them on TV, it's basically the same thing. They were just, you know, having good fun, you know, razzing them guys about their, you know, careers and things to that nature. And it truly was a great time, as I've said again, for a great cause. And then when this event concluded, we got to do some more meet and greets because, as I mentioned, one of the roasters was Steve Ott. And there he is. His nickname, of course, is Otter. And Steve Ott was drafted in the NHL just a year before my nephew Jason. And they actually had some playing time together in Utah for an NHL team, the Utah Grizzlies. And Ott is a legend. I mean, he really is. He's actually assistant coach for the St. Louis Blues right now. And so after the roast, I didn't see him at the reception, but I did see him after the roast, went up to him, and he was so nice. And, you know, I talked to him, and, of course, I let him know that Jay was my nephew. And he wanted to send a shout-out to Jason for his wedding as well. So let me go ahead and find Pete once again was being a fantastic photographer and videographer, and he took a video of me filming Steve, sending a shout out to Jay, and then I'll also show the video of his shout out. So let's give these two a look and a listen.
Play hockey with you there in Utah back in the day. You've been always a great man, first class. Again, congratulations.
All right, so that was a quick clip, but let's go ahead and now listen to Steve Ott sending a shout out to Jason Bakeshua.
Hey, Cass, congratulations on your wedding. It was a pleasure to play hockey with you there in Utah back in the day. You've been always a great man, first class. And again, congratulations.
All right, you rock, bro. It's Steve Ott. Do I look starstruck? I mean, by that time, y'all, I was just so starstruck. I had met so many legends, and they were all just so nice to me and Pete and so approachable. So again, y'all, I wanted to show this, you know, in part just hopefully as an incentive for any of our viewers and listeners to attend this event next year. As we heard Mr. Daniels say, they, I believe this was the fifth one. They had done it 4 times previous. I think I got that right. So in any case, for a great cause, and there's that boy Otter. And so just to recap, y'all, we're going to kind of move on from this event. It was for the Jamie Daniels Foundation, and you can see there I screenshotted some stuff from their webpage. You know, and as it says, one life lost is one life too many. And so there was all the details about the event. And to my friend Pete, again, I can't thank you enough, Pete, for telling me about this event. It was just so bizarre to me how it all came together. It was almost like it was meant to be that this event took place the very next day after my nephew Jason's wedding. And while I was in Detroit, here I'm doing this podcast all about trying to help people with an opioid addiction or any kind of substance abuse disorder. And on the exact same weekend I'm up there, you know, this event was going on right after Jay's wedding to Chantel and all, and the whole hockey tie-in, and just, I don't know, man, life's crazy, you know. So anyway, shout out one more time to the Jamie Daniels Foundation. Highly encourage y'all again to go to the website, just Google it, Jamie Daniels Foundation, see how you know, they're doing all this great work in the community, and how you might even be able to participate, get involved, volunteer, donate, whatever the case may be, do all the things. So once again, what a great organization. Shout out once again to all the folks at the Jamie Daniels Foundation. So moving along, y'all, we got some video clips. This is just fun stuff, y'all. You know, born and raised in Detroit City. I'm out in Sacramento, California now. I want to be near my daughter, and I love it out here. And I lived in Central Florida, Orlando, for 30 years. But the first 30 years of my life, I lived in Detroit City. And I often say the Detroit Chamber of Commerce ought to pay me a freaking commission because I'm like the biggest cheerleader for that city. I tell people all the time, man, if you ever want to take a vacation to a kind of a different destination, go to Detroit. It is like the coolest place in the world, especially if you're a sports fan. You got, the Red Wings, the Tigers, the Pistons, the Lions, who were all hoping. Who would have thought that with all the rebuilding going on in Detroit, that the Lions would be the best team in the city right now? But it appears to be the case. In any case, of course, the Great Lakes are there. Some people don't realize this. There's more coastline in the state of Michigan than there is in the state of Florida, with the Great Lakes there. I moved away simply because I can't stand cold weather, but I have all kinds of family there, 4 sisters, a brother. They all got kids. Some of them got kids. I go back and visit 2-3 times a year, all these years since I moved away. I love Detroit. Who knows? Oler might end up back there one day, but I'd like to maybe be a snowbird. I've always loved the summers in Detroit. It's nice up there, kind of like from May through the end of September, but the rest of the year, the weather can be pretty chilly. And of course, in January, February, and March, it's brutal with the cold and all. But with all that said, y'all, I am a big cheerleader of Detroit, and I just thought it'd be fun to show you some footage of the cool spots in Detroit. And again, shout out to that boy Pete, man. After the Jamie Daniels Foundation event, Pete was so kind to drive around downtown and help me get a lot of video footage to show on the podcast, just to give y'all a feel and a taste for the city of Detroit. So we're going to show a bunch of clips right in a row here, trying to find the first one. Okay, this is outside the Motor City Casino where the Jamie Daniels Foundation event took place. So let's go ahead and give that one a look and a listen, and we'll go on from there. All right, y'all, we are in downtown Detroit City, and that is the Motor City Casino where we just attended the Jamie Daniels Foundation roast and toast for Red Wing legends Nick Lidstrom and Thomas Holstrom. We met all the legendary hockey players and celebs, and man, it was just such a great time. So anyway, and there's downtown, part of downtown Detroit off there in the distance there. We're getting ready to go down to Greektown, have a bite and do some catching up, and I'll get some more footage down there, but just thought I'd show this, kind of cool. And we're just kind of here in the area right now, but wanted to show this, y'all. There you go. Peace. All right, so there you go, y'all, and we're going to get to that in just a little bit. So let's go to our next video. This is near Comerica Park, where the Red Wings. All right, y'all, we are in downtown Detroit City. There's Comerica Park. That is where the Detroit Tigers baseball team plays. And I'm just getting a little bit of footage here, y'all. This is like, you can't get much more in the center of the sports and arts district. That's the legendary Fox Theater. Oh my God, I've seen more shows there than I can even tell you. There is the legendary Fillmore, the Detroit Fillmore. I'll be going to the San Francisco Fillmore real soon to see that girl Mallrat from Australia. There's the headquarters, the world headquarters of Little Caesars. Of course, the Ilitch family owns the Detroit Tigers and the Detroit Red Wings. And speaking of the Detroit Red Wings, they play right down there at the Little Caesars Arena. And I don't know if you can see that Red Wing logo up top of it, and here that traffic sign was a little bit in the way, but yeah, Little Caesars Arena. They also have lots of concerts there. It's a huge and very cool arena. And then, again, you can tell, you know, just lots of activity around here. And Ford Field is actually right next to Comerica Park. You can't get the best view of it from here, but it's right there on the other side of the baseball stadium, and that's, of course, where the Detroit Lions play. We'll go by and see if we get some footage of that. All right, peace. All right, y'all. Excuse me. So, yeah, when that video started, I said where the Red Wings play because I'm just on this hockey thing, but I meant to say where the Detroit Tigers play, and, of course, clarified it in the video. So, anyway, you get the idea, man. Detroit is happening, as you can see. Lots of activity and all that. By the way, we got a video coming up real soon of an interview we did with a guy that works at Mom's Spaghetti, M&M's restaurant. So that's coming up in just a couple minutes. Hang tough for that, y'all. But right now, we're going to show this next video clip. And as some of y'all know, if you're a baseball or sports fan, Miguel Cabrera is a legend in Detroit baseball. And man, I notice in these videos, I get tired of hearing my own damn voice sometimes. I keep starting them off with, hey, y'all, and then I keep using the word legendary, legendary, but there's so much rich history in the city of Detroit. It truly is legendary in a lot of ways. So anyway, let's watch this little clip, which starts off with a shot of the legend Miguel Cabrera. All right, y'all, for all my fellow baseball fans, here we are in downtown Detroit City in front of the legendary Hockey Town Cafe. Home of the Detroit Red Wings is just a block away at the LCA, Little Caesars Arena. But yeah, for all my baseball fans, the legendary Miguel Cabrera, Miggy, in his last farewell season. And so we're just getting some footage from downtown Detroit City, man, my hometown. Oh, there's Ford Field off in the distance. I was getting some footage of Comerica where the Tigers play earlier, and we couldn't quite see it. But there is the football stadium. At least you can see the sign for it. Where the Detroit Lions play. We're going to see if we can drive around and give you all a better view of it. But man, this is the center of it in downtown. Yeah, you got the baseball stadium right there, the football stadium right there. That's where the Red Wings and the Pistons play, right there at the Little Caesars Arena. And you got the legendary Fox Theater right there. That's been around for decades. It's so beautiful inside of there, man. God, so many big names played there over the years. And I've been to more shows in there than I can remember. The Fillmore down the street again. We're going to try to go up to Mom's Spaghetti and show you that little place. It ain't much to see, but anyway. All right, y'all. Gotta run. Okay, so there you go, y'all. A little more footage of downtown. Now, Dean, I know that video I took and interviewed the guy at the Mom's Spaghetti restaurant was probably the longest video of all the clips that I took. Are we able to show that one yet, or is that still rendering?
You just have to tell me to play it.
Let's go ahead and play it right now. So this is a really interesting video, y'all. If you know, I'm sorry, Dean, I told you to play it, but I'm running my mouth still. Eminem, the rapper, you know, born and raised in Detroit, recovering addict. All right, y'all, there's...
Hold on,
that's okay.
I lost you a little bit, but
no,
you're going to be able to play. You're going to be able to talk through this if you want. But
well, no, I was just introing the video, but it speaks for itself, bro. So let's just go ahead and let it ride, and we'll talk about it later. All right, y'all. There's the legendary Fillmore in Detroit. Look at that. They got a red carpet event going on in here tonight. And I just wanted to come by to show y'all what's right next to it. Eminem's Mom's Spaghetti. It ain't much to see, y'all, but that is it. And this is where you come and order your spaghetti. They are closed right now. But, hey, bro. Hey, man, do you mind being on camera? I do a podcast, and I'm visiting Detroit, and I'm just here filming the Mom Spaghetti place. Are y'all open right now, or are you closed down?
We're open right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I ain't here to order nothing, but yeah, man. So you guys are a big tourist attraction now. Get real busy here during the day?
It depends on, like, it's event based.
Right. Now, does M come by once in a while? I know he was here for the grand opening, but does he ever pop in?
He comes by from time to time. All depends who's, like, in town.
Right.
What's going on.
Right.
But his kids come a lot sometimes, too.
Yeah.
Like his one daughter who got married, she had her thing upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
Her reception.
Yeah. Haley.
No, not Haley, the other one. Like his.
That's right. Haley ain't married. Yeah.
Haley's married, but Kim's sister's daughter that died. She's the one he called his daughter.
Right.
The one that got married. Her.
Yeah. What's your name, bro?
I'm Will.
Will, I'm Glenn, man. It's so nice to meet you, bro.
Came, like, a couple weeks back.
Oh, yeah. Snoop Dogg was in town. I saw he posted a picture out here.
Last time Eminem was here was when LL Cool J.
When LL Cool J was playing at the LCA, right?
Yeah. The day before. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Very cool. He just popped in, kind of unannounced.
Yeah, he just showed around, like.
Yeah.
It's just like whoever is like close friends with him in the industry, if they're coming to town to do something, he's gonna come through and make sure, like, to show them like his little
spot. And you know what's so cool about it? I'm gonna wrap up, bro. Is it's not expensive, but I've had it. It's pretty good spaghetti, actually.
It's pretty good.
Hey, Will, thanks again, bro. You rock, man.
It's just like I said, it's just event based, and it depends like what's going on, like. Tigers, we get Tigers people, we get people from the Fillmore, we get people from the Fox.
This is awesome.
A lot of people from out of town come
in. Great spot. And then you can actually go around and eat inside upstairs in that little area.
We actually have everything that you see is for sale, even the chips and stuff.
You
There's
rock.
a trailer upstairs too, if you're visiting the trailer.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate you, man. You're cool as hell. Thanks again. All right, y'all. So there you go. It's Mom Spaghetti. Sorry if I felt rushed. I didn't want to hold them people up. They're ordering some Mom Spaghetti. So there you go. This is the spot. So when I ate here before, I came down with that boy G and Awana, and we ate spaghetti up there. It looks like somebody's up there cleaning up. And there's a little small, not real big, but small kind of museum in there where he has some of his memorabilia. And so you can see it's right there on the ground floor of the Little Caesars World Headquarters. And right next to the Fillmore, just in that little alley there. So it ain't like a whole lot to see, but it's kind of a cool little spot. And it ain't real expensive. So anyway, that's that. Thanks, Will. All right, shout out Will from Mom Spaghetti. He was so cool to us, and he would have kept talking. I was kind of feeling bad. We had a couple of people waiting in line there that wanted to order some Mom Spaghetti, and I did have the spaghetti last summer. I went there, as I mentioned in the video, with my son G and my daughter-in-law Wana, and it's like $10. For a pretty decent size, I think almost like a quart-sized container of spaghetti, and I think for like a couple bucks more, you can throw a meatball or two in there, and it gives you some bread. So it's pretty good. Obviously, not a really big place, not real fancy schmancy. We were there late at night. I was surprised they were still open. I didn't think they were still open when I went up to the window, but clearly they were. During the day, it does get crowded. Again, a lot of tourists in town will go there and they'll have a long line and stuff. But we got there at the right time, obviously. So I just thought if you're, a viewer of our show, you'd get a kick out of seeing that. Mom Spaghetti, M&M's restaurant right in Detroit City. And as I said, Marshall Mathers, Eminem, bro, if you ever see this, we'd love to have you on the show, man. Talk about living clean. Dude, born and raised in Detroit. Of course, everyone knows Eminem, man. Such a famous artist and so inspirational to so many people, living his life clean. And, he's been so open about his struggles with addiction and how he's living clean now. So, I just thought it'd be really cool to show that. And certainly, of course, thought of the tie-in to our show. So anyway, y'all, moving on. We got a couple more videos downtown. We're going to go into this one. Pete, again, was so cool. He was like, bro, we got to get closer to Ford Field for you so you can get some better footage of that stadium. So let's give that one a look and a listen right now. All right, y'all. Once again, we're in downtown Detroit City. That's Ford Field right back there. That's where the Detroit Lions play football. And then you can see that's the inside of Tiger Stadium, or Comerica Park, as they call it, where the Tigers play. So you can see you got the baseball and the football team right next to each other. And my boy Pete says we're going to drive right down there. So you'll get a better view of Ford Field, where the Lions, who we're all hoping make the playoffs and even more this year, go. We'll see. All right. And then I'm looking in the notes here. Dean, I don't know if we have video 16 standing by, because in mine it jumps from 15 to 17. It's just another clip of Ford Field. Do you have that one standing by?
I do. Just
all
hold
right.
on
Well, let's
one
go ahead
second.
and play that one, because it gives a unique perspective of the baseball and football stadiums and how they're right next to each other. Okay, y'all. Yeah, I know you can't see that great, but you're looking through this fence. We're here at Comerica Park, where the Detroit Tigers play. There, you can see a little better now that I'm back from being right up on the fence. That's where the Detroit Tigers baseball team plays. And you can see there's the big, oh, look at that. The Tigers sign is going. There you go, y'all. Detroit Tigers baseball stadium. I still call it Tiger Stadium, even though it's not the old Tiger Stadium. It's Comerica Park is what they call it now. That's where the Tigers play. And there's the, big scoreboard and all that. And now I'm going to walk right on down to where the Detroit Lions play, the legendary Ford Field. So you can see in downtown Detroit, this is so cool that they have the Detroit Tigers baseball team stadium literally right next to and across the street from where the Lions play at Ford Field. And the legendary Ilitch family owns the Tigers and the Red Wings. And of course, the legendary Ford family, yeah, that Ford family, Ford Motor Company, owns the Detroit Lions. And so that is Ford Field, where the Detroit Lions play. And of course, they have a lot of concerts in there too. And I saw the Rolling Stones in there. In fact, the Rolling Stones played the Super Bowl at Ford Field when they did the Super Bowl. There's all kinds of cool spots down here. You see, you got this, what they call the Elwood Grill, Bar and Grill right outside. Of course, it's always a party out here on the patio when there's games or concerts or whatnot going on. And so, yeah, man, just thought I'd show y'all those spots. There you go. There's my boy Pete, who's waiting for me. He's being so cool. Let me walk around and get all this footage, y'all. All right, we're going to head to Greektown. There you go. Peace. All right, y'all. So I just wanted to show y'all. I know this footage is going on and on in Detroit City, and some of y'all may be thinking, what the hell does this have to do with drug addiction, substance abuse disorder, recovery? it's just part of my story, y'all, and I thought I'd share that with y'all, where your old pal Glenn Victor grew up. Get to know a little bit more about me and that boy, like I just said, Marshall Mathers, who, you know, has been so inspirational to people, living clean and sober. Grew up in that town too, y'all. And so, like I said, when we started all these Detroit videos, the chamber there ought to pay me a commission. I'm such a huge fan of Detroit. And I thought I'd share that with y'all. So then me and Pete start making our way downtown. And this video's got a little humor in it as well. So let's go ahead and give this a look and a listen. All right, y'all, more footage from downtown Detroit City. That is the legendary Detroit Renaissance Center, or RenCen for short, as a lot of us real ones from Detroit know it as. And so I get some footage. There's the Hollywood Casino, in case you didn't know. Casino gambling has been a thing in Detroit for years. And for all my dope fiend friends who got in trouble, I'm sorry, y'all, couldn't resist. Standing outside of the 36th District Court building here in downtown Detroit. And of course, there's Ford Field over there. We showed some footage of that, and Comerica Park, where the Tigers play, right down the street. And again, we're getting ready to head over to Greektown. There's Detroit Music Hall, where tons of great and legendary acts have played. Looks like they got a little something going on over there tonight. People waiting in line. Yeah, man, we're right here at the corner of Madison and, well, and they call it Aretha Franklin Way as well. I forget what fucking, oh, and Brush Street. Yeah, we're on the corner of Brush and Madison, which has also been historically named Aretha Franklin Way. So yeah, there you go. Peace. Sister Aretha Franklin Way. Yeah, so anyway, I thought that was kind of cool to show y'all. So yeah, me and Pete then made our way down to Detroit's famous Greektown. Check it out. Okay, y'all, now we are definitely in Greektown, Detroit City. And we are headed to Pegasus to get something to eat. That's the Greektown Casino down there. A lot of cool stuff going on up and down here. This is the legendary Greektown in Detroit City, and it is happening on a Saturday night. It's changed a lot over the years, but definitely still a cool spot, and not just a destination for locals, but a cool tourist destination for people to come visit. So yeah, we're headed into Pegasus, which is a legendary Greek restaurant in Detroit. And there it is. We're getting ready to go in the front door right now. A lot of local celebs eat here. Sports teams, when they're in town, will come here and all that stuff. Well, there you go. All right, so yeah, you can tell Greektown is happening. That's probably about a mile or so from the sports and arts district that we were showing, where all the stadiums were and all. And then inside of Pegasus, got a little footage here too. All right, y'all, we are inside of the Pegasus, and you can see they just keep everything right out in the open here, man. You can see them making the food. How's it going, bro? Hey, how are you today? Good. We're doing a podcast. You don't mind if I put you on there, right? Hey, there you go. Yes, sir. Detroit City, Pegasus. This place, oh my God, the memories in here. I love this spot. Yeah. All right, y'all. Check it out. Oopa. Yeah, Upa. And, you know, as I mentioned, the memories in that spot, y'all. And in case you didn't know what Upa meant, let's watch this next video, and I think you'll figure it out. Check it out. Upa! There we go. All right. Yeah. Thank you, bro.
From out of state, so it's been a while.
Yeah, I used to come here when I was younger, so we're glad to be here tonight, bro. Cool. Thanks. All right, so there you go, y'all. Hey, that's all the video footage I have of Detroit City. I was just looking in the comments. I fell a little behind on the comments. Pete said that was a great picture from the stage. He was talking about Miriam Illich, billionaire. Said he loved it. So glad we got together. I'm not sure what this was, dude. I'm pissed you didn't bring back some. Oh, I think he meant to say Saganaki. I think that's what it was. That's what that flaming cheese is, or what have you. But nonetheless, y'all, I know that was a lot of stuff that maybe necessarily didn't have a lot to do with our main topic of trying to help people through drug addiction and recovery, showing all that footage around downtown Detroit. Of course, the Jamie Daniels Foundation speaks for itself. As I've said on this show before, though, we try to be entertaining for everyone and provide good content. And for anybody who may be going through struggles with addiction, maybe you're trying to kick dope and get off of that shit. When you're going through it, man, I get it. It's like climbing. You're going through all the withdrawal symptoms, the cold sweats, the restless leg. You can't sleep. You can't eat. You're laying in bed just trying to kill time scrolling on your phone. So, hopefully some of the footage we showed, of downtown Detroit was entertaining to you and kept your interest. So, anyway, appreciate y'all riding along with me for that trip back to Detroit City, y'all. Hope to go and visit again soon and maybe do another show from Detroit down the road. But right now, y'all, we're going to transition into the news. Let me find where I'm at in our photos here. There we go. It is time for the opioid crisis in the news, y'all. Thanks, Dean, for bringing that up. And so just this past week, y'all, we're going to zip through these pretty quick. If you've been following, you know that Narcan, which is the antidote for an opioid overdose, is now going to be available for over-the-counter purchase this coming week. And a 2-pack, they say, will retail for right around $44.99. Some experts saying that's a little bit too high. I do kind of think it's on the high end, y'all. And there's been talk that hopefully some of this opioid settlement money, that is, from Purdue Pharma and all the rest, might help to go to fund some of that stuff. And here's another story, saying that, the 2-pack will cost a little less than $50. And here was a story we pulled from the New York Times. Again, just kind of reiterating what we just talked about. This week, y'all, Narcan available for over-the-counter purchase. And again, can't encourage anyone enough, especially if you know you have a family member who may be, struggling with substance abuse disorder, opioids, to have this on standby. And certainly all employers ought to have this stuff available too, in case they have a problem in the workplace. There's some of us think Narcan should become just as available as a fire extinguisher in any public places. There's even stories we've done on this show about it being available in vending machines. So anyway, just want to touch on that a little bit. Just to kind of piggyback off of that, the White House, and again, y'all, not getting political at all here. We don't get into politics on this show. We just thought that, this is such an important story that even the White House jumped in during this past week to announce an additional $450 million in funding to help fight the opioid epidemic. And that was done in conjunction with what's called Overdose Awareness Week. Just this past week, Overdose Awareness Day was on August 31st. And here's another story that we pulled about that. So it was nice to see the Fed jump in and contribute toward that as well. Now, here's a story we pulled from the World Health Organization, y'all. If you think this opioid epidemic is just limited to the United States, you are badly mistaken. We talk a lot on this show, and even in our intro that Dean put together for us, we talk about during the course of this show, we usually go between an hour and a half, 2 hours. We'll probably wrap up in about 10 minutes here for today's show. About 6 to 10 people will die in the United States from an opiate overdose. Well, I'm not going to sit here and read to y'all, but if you look in that last paragraph there, y'all, it talks about how worldwide, roughly 1/3 of the almost 600,000 annual deaths from drug use are caused by overdose, most by an opioid overdose. And this particular story goes on to tell a little bit more about this particular person in Greece who is working to fight the opioid crisis. And it's a story about, an addict in Athens, Greece, struggling with this. And so I did the math, y'all. Worldwide, they're estimating 600,000 people a year dying from a drug overdose. Most of them are opiate overdoses, opioid overdoses, whatever the hell you want to call it. That comes to 1,643 people a day and 68 an hour. So think about that, man. Just in the hour and a half of today's show. Good God, I'm trying not to get emotional thinking about it, y'all. Just in the hour and a half of today's show, almost 100 people are going to die or have died from an opiate overdose worldwide. It's just insane what's going on. So all the more reason, y'all, shout out to groups like the Jamie Daniels Foundation. And again, I just feel like what we're doing with this podcast, if, as we say, if we can help even one person to maybe seek help, take it a step further, get themselves clean, then it's all worth it, man. 100 freaking people dying by the time we finish this show. It's just insane. Anyway, moving on, y'all. We're going to do a couple shout outs now on a more upbeat note. Shout out to that boy, Stephen King. Yes, everybody knows Stephen King, but not everybody knows he lives clean and sober. And so I pulled this off the internet, took a screenshot. Just celebrated 33 years not long ago, clean and sober. And I kind of got a kick out of this quote because it certainly could relate. He says, I was never the guy who said, let's have a gin and tonic before dinner. I'd have to have like 12 gin and tonics and then have to say, fuck dinner and have 12 more. And so, it ain't for everybody, but for some folks like myself, man, it's like once you put that shit in your body, there's just no telling where it'll end and if it'll ever stop. And so, Stephen King, shout out to you on 33 years, y'all. Okay, so I mentioned this earlier in the show. We want to do a shout out to our old friend from Orlando, Florida. There he is, Mr. Jim Payne, news anchor for WESH television in Orlando. Here, let's go back to that one for a second because I want to talk about this for just a second. Jim is an old friend, and Dean, you remember we worked with Jim for many years. He was a guest presenter at that awards banquet that I was kind of the go-to guy on organizing for God, when I do that thing for like 25 years. And Jim was a guest presenter for about 10 of those years for us for the Jefferson Award. And you can see there's a picture of him and I together. It was always kind of weird because we did, videos of the awards banquet, and I'd go around and interview all the people. And it was just kind of weird me interviewing the news anchor and reporter instead of them interviewing me for a change like they did in my PR role. But I showed this picture on the podcast before, Dean. You may remember, if you look closely at my face, I remember this day specifically. I was half dope sick and half high as a kite. Look at Jim's eyes and look at my eyes. I remember that day I had run out of what we call the good pills. I didn't have any of, the oxys or the perks or the Vikes or whatever. But I managed to get my hands on some morphine pills, which is a whole nother story, dangerous as hell. But they don't give you that euphoric feeling. They do help take away the dope sickness if you don't have any opiates in your system. And so I really had to power through that event, force a smile on my face. And, when you're putting that shit in your body, man, it definitely affects your appearance. And, you can tell just by looking at my eyes. Something ain't right. I often wonder, man, did people not pick up on that? I mean, look at my eyes now. You're on the podcast, and look at them in that picture, man. But any case, y'all, getting a little off topic, shout out to Jim Payne after, I believe he said, a 47-year career in broadcasting, and he signed off on Friday. And, just a quick story, y'all. When I was kicking dope, and I was, driving back to Orlando after spending 4 months up in Michigan getting clean. On my way back, I stayed in Tennessee for a night, and I got up the next day, and I don't know why, but for some reason I thought about Jim. And I think it had to do with this story. If you follow Jim Payne's story in Orlando, he has a son, Jim Jr., who was very open about his struggles with addiction. And Jim Payne did a documentary on it that we're going to talk about and show on a future episode of this show, maybe even next week. I just watched it again, actually, last night. And I think that's why I thought of Jim, because it certainly was an inspiration to me to get clean again, because when you see stories like that and you're out there fucking up like I was and struggling with addiction and substance abuse disorder, and you see stories like this of someone turning their life around, kind of sort of plants that seed. You just never know when something you do or say is going to plant that seed that could be an inspiration for someone to get clean. Maybe not right then, but down the road. It's one of the things we even hope with this podcast. And I thought about it, and certainly that was the case for me with Jim and his son being so open about their story, and Jim being so supportive of his son. And anyway, I texted Jim. He was one of the only people from my business life and my career, that I confided in that I was struggling with addiction. And at that time, I did have a few months clean again. And sure enough, Jim replied back to me. This was, again, going back 2.5 years ago, y'all. And I hadn't seen him for a while because I had, retired, since we had worked together. And he got back to me with, words of encouragement and all. And so anyway, I texted Jim again on Friday. Not long before he did his last newscast, just congratulating him on a long career and whatnot. And sure enough, man, after the show, he replied to me and wished me well in my adventures of living clean and sober. And actually, he's moving out to be near his son. He's shared this openly on the news, so I'm not breaking his confidence or anything. But he's moving out to Las Vegas, where his son lives now, to be close, to him. And man, he texted me, hey, if you're ever in Vegas, so, you never know. Me and Jim might meet up again. Maybe we'll have him on the show someday. That'd be wonderful, But shout out to Jim Payne. As I posted on my social media, man, one of the real ones, and even had a couple people chime in on that post saying, yeah, Jim's one of the last real true journalists that really gets it, and nothing against, other news reporters and all, not trying to be negative toward anyone else. What I will say is Jim truly was a real one, and I worked with a lot of them in my career, both in Detroit and Orlando. And it was just such a pleasure working with him over the years. And again, just want to say thank you so much to Jim Payne and his son for being so open about his son's struggles with addiction. I was thinking to myself, what an interesting contrast, poor Ken Daniels losing his son, Jamie, to addiction. And then here Jim Payne's son managed to turn it around and is living clean and sober. It just goes to show, man, you just never know, it could have went either way for either one of them. And, it turned out the way it did. And man, even with my story, y'all, if you know my story, and if you haven't, you can go back and watch some of the other 24 episodes we did where I go into great detail about it. I do truly feel like I'm living on borrowed time. And I'm so grateful that I survived that addiction to tell my story and hopefully be an inspiration to other people the way Jim and his son are. So anyway, shout out again to Jim Payne. Congratulations on your retirement. Hope to cross paths with you again, not too far down the road. So moving on, y'all, to music news. Of course, some sad news. The legend Jimmy Buffett passed away a couple of days ago. And man, who doesn't know Jimmy Buffett? Margaritaville, 5 o'clock somewhere, all that stuff. And man, do I have memories from spending time down in the Keys and Key West. I even posted something about it, man, doing the Duval crawl, during my, drinking days and all that. And man, it just goes to show, enjoy the moments. Jimmy Buffett, all the money in the world, but doesn't mean a thing if you don't have your health. And he was struggling with some health issues and passed away a couple days ago at 76 years old. But thank God we have his music that'll live on forever.
Yeah, it seems like he died of skin cancer.
I know he had some.
Yeah, they just CBS News released it just today.
Okay, so, is that what it was? I didn't know what it was, but I knew he had a health challenge. And I mean, being from the Keys and all, I guess, kind of makes sense and all. God, it scares the hell out of me. People been telling me to stay out of the sun since I was a kid. And this ain't gonna happen, y'all. Hope that doesn't creep up on me one day. But anyway, R.I.P. to Jimmy Buffett. And then on another more positive note, when it comes to music, how about them boys from the Rolling Stones? Mick, Keith, and Ronnie are putting out a new album, and they've been teasing the shit out of it for the last week or so. And one thing I love about the Stones, man, they always come up with these unique marketing ideas when they're rolling out new music. And they ran this small ad in this little paper over in the UK. And you can see the name of the album is Hackney Diamonds. And they had this little ad that said, our friendly team promises satisfaction when you say, gimme shelter, we'll fix your shattered windows. And man, the cool artwork there, too. Isn't that cool as hell? So anyway, then, if you remember, man, back in the day, the Stones literally drove down the streets of New York City on a flatbed truck playing music, when they rolled out an album. And so this time around, they've done some really cool videos, and I've got just a few of them. They're not very long at all, but let's go ahead and play them. This is the new Stones album coming out in just 3 days, Hackney Diamonds, y'all. That one's cool as hell. Here's another one. Now that video, if you listen real closely, it's so cool what they did. You can hear almost this echo from down in the subway of the first single off the album called Don't Get Angry With Me. And you can just hear it subtly in the background. So anyway, there's a couple more. Check this one out here, y'all. Let me just do this one. And then we got one more. Check this out. And you can actually hear Don't Get Angry With Me just slightly in the background of this one, too. So, yeah, you can just barely hear it. But nonetheless, they have released actually probably about I don't know, maybe 20-second clip from that song. I didn't want to play it on the podcast because I didn't want us to get dinged for copyright or whatever the hell. But they're putting stuff out there all the time. If you follow Mick, Keith, Ronnie, the Stones, whatever on social media, you'll see all the things. But I couldn't resist talking about it because they are, in fact, my favorite music artists, the Rolling Stones. I've seen them like 10 times and all over the country in St. Louis, Detroit, Orlando, Tampa, all the things. And I definitely will go see them again. Shout out to my sister T, my Stones buddy, if they come again on tour, which Keith is indicating they will if their health holds out. Hope we can go see them again. Now we're going to transition into some funny memes, y'all, and then we're going to wrap this show up and bring it full circle. I thought this was the perfect one. Just trying to have a sense of humor about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Mick Jagger is fucking 80. And if you didn't know, Mitch McConnell, not to make fun of Mitch McConnell, God bless him, hope he's okay. But, the politician, this past week, he froze up at the podium twice for these speeches, and he's like 81. And so I thought this was a great meme. The benefits of a life of sex, drugs, rock and roll should not be ignored, because look at Mick looking cool as hell at 80 years old, man. If that's 80, I say bring that shit on. If I can look as cool as he does and be as spry and active as Mick Jagger at 80, fucking bring it on, man, anytime. So anyway, I thought that one was kind of cool and certainly tied into what we just did about the Stones' new album coming out in just a few days. Then I thought we'd show this funny meme, warning unattended children will be given an energy drink and taught to swear. That was me when I was a kid, and that's my excuse for having such a potty mouth. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I was the youngest of 6. I didn't get attended to very often, and I started drinking coffee at a real young age and heard my share of swearing. I'll tell you that without going into too much detail about that. So I thought that was a perfect transition into this next funny meme. I started a swear jar yesterday, and you can see all those jugs of change for all the swear words. But hey, y'all, we do try to keep it real on this podcast. We try not to get, too nasty, but we try to keep it at the level of people who may be struggling with an addiction. We don't ordinarily hold any punches when it comes to the things that are discussed. And so, yeah, we drop some F-bombs here and there and some curse words here and there, but, we try to keep it tactful at least. So, we talked about maybe starting a swear jar a while back, and that kind of fell to the wayside. So maybe we will. Maybe we'll start a swear jar and make donations and send it to one of these groups like maybe the Jamie Daniels Foundation. You get the idea. But anyhow, moving along, y'all. Just wanted to let everyone know I'm growing through a lot right now, and I thought this was perfect because, oh man, did we go through a lot on this show today. We just burned through it. We just shotgunned through 64 slides and 24 videos, y'all, and so I thought this was kind of funny, going through a lot right now, the parking lot, and then finally, because we are done, boom! Mic drop, y'all. We did it. We did it. Dean, thank you so much, man. I'm going to look at the timer. Okay, well, I was hoping to wrap it up in an hour and a half. We went about 20 minutes long, but hey, it was a great show. Thank you so much, Dean. Again, you're a rock star behind the scenes, bro. I know I overloaded you with a shit ton of stuff today, but our 25th episode of the Dare Me podcast is now in the can, y'all. We're going to post the recorded version, and then all 25 of them will be there forever and ever and ever out there on all the platforms. My personal favorite is the Dare Me Podcast YouTube channel. I'm a little behind on getting all of them posted. You can see every episode on that page. Just click the live button. They're all there. But I try to clean them up and take the counter off the beginning and put them in the videos tab. And we're almost completely up to date with that, y'all. So anyhow, with all that said, going to work on wrapping it up now. Want to thank y'all for riding with us for 25 25 episodes of the Dare Me podcast. We're halfway through our goal to getting 1 full year of these in the can. 6 months more to go. Dean, I just got to ask, man, does it seem like 25 episodes to you?
All in one night tonight? Yeah. No, I'm just messing with you. No, it's moved right along. I it's kind of like a whiplash. I just kind of like, whoa, that just went by.
Yeah, I know, my God, and all the great guests we've had. Shout out to all the guests. Thank you so much, y'all, for participating in and supporting this podcast and show. We got some other really cool and great guests that we're planning to have on and hoping to have on in the coming months, y'all. So with all that said, if you are a person struggling with substance abuse disorder, an addiction of any kind, we hope that we could be and have been some kind of inspiration to you. We want to, again, thank everyone for supporting this program for the past 6 months and the past 25 episodes now. As we often say on this show, if you're struggling with addiction, if you're going through hell, just keep up going. If I can get through it, you can get through it too. And with all that said, Dean, thank you again for everything you do to keep this show going, bro. Can't thank you enough. And everyone, I hope you have a safe week. Thank you again for your support of the program, and we'll see you next time on the Dare Me podcast.
Good night, everyone.